All right, we're live now through the YouTube app, um, which may be a separate feed, so hang on. I think I'm just going to use this live YouTube app as a separate setting here. You'll be able to see both the. Hang on a second. It's tricky because I've never done this before, so I appreciate all your patience. I'm going to try and copy the link from the live feed coming in here. So how do I get the live app feed onto the desktop? Hang on a second. All right, we're getting very close here. Hey y'all, Chase is not with me. Hello California. Hello King Wolf. Hello April Fina. Hello Yulia. This has been pretty stressful. I'm trying to figure this all out, and it's difficult, you know. So bear with me here. I appreciate all your patience. Okay, there's a chat on that. All right, I think I'm on track now here. I'm looking at myself on delay, so bear with me here. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I'm sorry. So we'll officially start this stream in 2 minutes. Let me collect myself. I've been so flustered trying to different programs here. I got 2 different computers going on. So let me make sure I'm looking at you guys and not looking over here. I'm gonna make sure I can see the live chat and et cetera, et cetera. Let me turn on the music and oh my God, very stressful. You know, if you know me at all, you'll know that I haven't done any live feeds on this. Oh, thank you. That's my Bob Dylan tattoo. I like to tell people it's Tom Cruise, but it's actually Bob Dylan. All right, we're gonna get started here in a second. Let me do a couple back stretches. Hello, Netherlands. Hello, Summer Houghton. Hello, Dylan. Hello, Gizmo. Hello, Mark Rubbles. Hello, rock and roll fans. Hello, Australia. I'm almost gathered myself, so bear with me here. I don't want to look at that, so I want to look at the computer screen here because that's where your questions are coming in. Let me blow up this. Now, can I get this in landscape? I'm going to try and switch the camera so it goes to landscape here. Bear with me. All right, it won't let me do that. So we're going to have to stay in portrait mode. Let me move this over here. How does that look? All right. This is so ridiculous. All right. One more thing before we get started, because I have to make sure I got enough juice in my my iPhone to. Where am I located? Well, I mean, Chase and I are in Chicago. Chase and his mother and I, we all live in Chicagoland. I'm in the northern burbs. She is in the southern suburbs. We share custody. We live about 60 miles apart. And Chase primarily lives with his mother. So we already answered a question. How am I? I'm frazzled right now, so don't ask how I am. Let me get my iPhone charger. Don't move. Well, thank you for asking how I am. It's so funny. I'm looking at your questions already, so let's rock and roll. Somebody just asked about Anthony's house. That is a great question, great topic. Because I was talking to Anthony last night. So we're going to try and line something up for next Sunday at Anthony's house. That's a week from today, and it will be in the afternoon. And Carmen will be with me. And we will bring two different Nerf guns and rock and roll. So, but what's with Anthony's house? Well, Chase got to visit Anthony's house about 2 years ago. Let me turn on the volume on this because I'm echoing back at myself. The story with Anthony's house, Chase doesn't get the opportunity to play with neurotypical children very often. He spends most of his days in a high school that in a special needs classroom with severely autistic children. And I've experienced that many, many times in the past, sitting in with different classrooms at Easter Seals when he went there. And it's a topic that, is a very stressful thing because you want your special needs child to have friends and to have a social outlet, and it can be extremely, extremely difficult. Well, I can go on and on about that, but about 2 years ago, just on a whim, we ended up at Anthony's house, and there were 3 neurotypical kids there, a little younger than Chase, and then 2 of them were of Chase's age, just very normal kids. And they all just started playing Nerf guns, and Chase enjoyed running up and down the stairs with them shooting Nerf guns, like what kid wouldn't? And we have not been able to set that up ever since. So that's why he always asks where Anthony is. Chase will not be part of this live stream. I know you guys are asking a lot of questions on that. I don't do live streams with Chase anymore. I won't get into the reasons why, but he is not with me, and he will not be with me in any future live streams. Does Chase like dogs? Well, he's neither here or near there with dogs. He lives with 2 dogs, and he basically, I can't give you a real in-depth because I don't live in that household, but when he's introduced to dogs in public, he basically ignores them. It's not something that really grabs his attention. He's in his own little world, and the idea of playing with a dog or petting a dog is not something that would really interest Chase. We're going to move this camera over here so we can plug in the charger and get this phone charged. I wasn't intending on using the iPhone to stream, but it's just the way it happens. And we're going to set this up here. Bear with me. We don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't want to lose the stream with the iPhone. I could see your questions coming in here too. So, you guys are the best. I just want to say right off the bat, thank you guys for all your support. Thank you guys for all your love and your likes. What Chase does books does Chase like? Well, lately it's been coloring books, drawing books where he can color things in. Obviously animal books. When he goes to the bookstore, he ends up in the Disney section, and he loves going to the bookstores and checking out all the Disney books and stuff like that. Those are the kind of books he likes. He likes books where he can draw stuff in, All right, there's a gazillion questions coming in. So let me, I don't even know how to organize all this, but we're going to do our best. There's no hurry with the stream, by the way. I have the whole rest of the afternoon. So if I miss one of your questions, go ahead and fire away. Thank you for saying I'm an amazing dad. I try really hard. Anyone with special needs, they know it can be very, very tough, and we all do our best. Yes, I do have a new wife. Her name is Carmen, and she will be part of maybe 3 or 4 videos that I will put together next weekend. She's in town next weekend. She lives in Minneapolis, and we've had a long-distance relationship for going on about 5 years, but we recently got married on September 1st, and she doesn't move in for a good 6, 7, 8 months, so it's very strange, and it's very tough on both of us, but we do our best, and we travel and see each other. The plane ride's just an hour. I'm looking at some of your questions here. How will Chase carry on with life when you won't be able to take care of him? The question was, how will Chase carry on in life when we won't be able to take care of him? There is no answer to that question. What's critically important is that I take care of myself, Chase's mom takes care of himself, Chase's step parents, and Chase's sister, and anyone in the extended family. Hopefully, as he enters his 30s, 40s, he will become more and more and more independent and be able to take care of himself. He can do a lot of independent things now, but obviously safety is a major concern. He requires 24-hour supervision, and he's 18 and a half years old. I'm reading some of your questions here as they come in, so I'll try and keep them flowing. I don't know, I have no idea. Chase will be living with his mom and his stepdad for the next few years. I have no idea how long. I don't know where they're going to live. They're talking about relocating somewhere nearby. And both of them are fantastic with Chase, and he has so much love around him from every direction. Chase's birthday is July 1st. What was the question you're asking about my ex? Are you saying Chase's mom? We have a good relationship. We have okay relationship. There's some rough times here and there. I think the question was, how did she feel about the videos? This has been an educational process. I've been putting videos up of Chase for 2 years, and it didn't go viral until September. So until September, there wasn't a lot of attention around the videos. A couple hundred likes here and there. But when it went viral, yeah, it's very shocking for the entire family across many levels because of all the attention on Facebook. Just on Facebook alone, it's several million, 20, 30, 40, 50 million. I've lost count. I know on one of the sites yesterday it was at 15 million. So, but it's been an educational process with everybody to understand that these videos are educational. They are awareness. Chase enjoys doing it. He enjoys watching it. It's a great activity for me and Chase. And more than anything, it provides hope for many families out there that want some perspective on how their son or daughter may behave once they reach the teenage years. So, Chase's mom likes the videos, but at the same time, she wants to be very careful that there's not an overexposure and, like a live feed of him sitting at the counter. No, she didn't like that. So, and I respect that and I understand that. There's certain privacy issues there. Chase doesn't have the ability to consent and write down on a piece of paper and consent that he's on YouTube, and he's 18 and a half years old. So long as the videos are, I started talking at 3 o'clock, so long as the videos are educational and pure and not exploitating and educational, as you watch the videos, it's just Chase and I doing things. That's it. Doing activities, Chase drawing at the library. Yeah. Why did you start the vlogging? Are you asking why? Nathan Hess asked, why did I start the vlogging? I've been vlogging on YouTube since 2008, 2009, when I started uploading videos of storm chasing and me covering songs by the Doors and playing acoustic songs and stuff like that. Then I made a video of him sledding way back when, and I would do little videos real short of him. I didn't put them on YouTube right away. But I put it up on YouTube a couple years ago, especially the conversations talking with Dad, to show what Chase is capable of, that he can speak, that he can talk, that he can have some sort of communication with his father after many years of extensive ABA therapy, in and out of the home, private therapy, private schooling, without ABA therapy, I don't know if he would ever have spoken. Um, just crazy. So I put up the videos to show the world what what is autism. You know, here's a reference. The videos are called "This is Autism" for a reason. That just like there are many flowers in the field, there are many different forms of autism and so many different variations of people on the spectrum. Well, here's one form of it, and his name is Chase, and he's my son. And look what he can do. He can spell, he can read, he can write, he can speak, he can answer questions. He uses functional verbal language when he wants something, when he needs something, when he is happy, when he is sad. And I know that mostly the only thing he talks about is Anthony's house, but that's part of OCD and being obsessive compulsive. And a lot of people with autism struggle with autism with being obsessive compulsive disorder. You know, he obsesses on Anthony's house, and he associates me with Anthony's house. So it's not like when he goes back to his mother, that's all he talks about. You know, what's up, Fathering Autism? How are ya? Thank you for tuning in. We're doing a first of its kind here, so I'm doing my best with this. There's so many questions coming in, I can't even keep track. And by the time I answer a question, there's like 50 that just flew by on the screen. So don't be afraid to keep re-asking your questions as I glance at the screen here. Chase will be with me next weekend. He's not with me right now. Chase likes Christmas. Somebody just asked about Christmas. He really likes Christmas music. He loves Dean Martin. He loves Willie Nelson. He loves Frank Sinatra. He loves Gene Autry. And what's funny is each year on the radio station here in Chicago, they go all Christmas music mid-November. So when he gets in a car, he wants that channel on. But when a female comes on singing a Christmas song, he turns it off. And then when a male comes on and starts singing a song, he kind of leans into the radio and he turns it up. And you get my idea on that. He likes the male singing voice Christmas songs, traditional style, you know, Gene Autry, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Willie Nelson. I observed that in the car the other day and I started laughing. I just said to him, like, what, you don't like Karen Carpenter? You don't like Kim Carpenter, the Carpenters' Christmas songs? Those are beautiful. Where's my wife? She is in Minneapolis. Her name is Carmen, and she will be here next weekend visiting. We don't live together just yet. Do you feel tired? No, I do not feel tired. Not even about Austin, but I just wonder how hard it is to have kids. That question came in from Boltron. Wants to know how hard it is. I don't even know where to begin to answer that question. It's the hardest job in the world. It's not a job, but it's the hardest thing in the world is to be a good parent and raise children. And if there's special needs, then maybe it's much harder. I have a normal child, neurotypical. I'm not going to say her name, but she's 19 years old and she's away at college. And she was incredible growing up. She was incredible in every sense of the word. And raising Chase, you know, I only lived with Chase full time with him until age 6 when we divorced. So to answer that question really focuses on the full time of the full 6 years. And it was incredibly hard to answer your question. Where do I go with that question? You're asking me really tough questions right off the bat. You know, Chase had some language up until 8 months. He said dog, he said mom or dog, and he lost all that language. He regressed. He was regressive autism. And to see him just regress into this world of complete isolation at 18 months was the most traumatic experience of my life. So yes, it was very, very tough. And I've never had a traumatic experience like that. And it was overwhelming and emotional and tough and sleepless nights endless amounts of going to the doctors and a specialist and a psychiatrist and a neuropsychiatrist, neuropsychologist, on and on and on and on. The pediatrician's telling us that he was normal and he was just going through a rough patch and he had an ear infection. He's going to be fine. He'll grow out of it. That he's a late bloomer. You hear all that stuff, and we heard all that stuff. So that was very, very tough to not know what was wrong with him. But then when we finally got the diagnosis of autism, which his mother suspected, was sort of a relief. But just seeing him be in an isolated world for the next 8 years of his life was horrific, would be the best word. Even though he's adorable and was always happy and smiling and cute, it's one of the toughest parts of raising a child with autism is that you're on a challenge every day to want to connect with them and engage with them and participate in fun activities with them that they enjoy, and they don't give that reciprocation back to you in a verbal way. But as you see in the videos, Chase does it in nonverbal ways. He hugs, he kisses, he smiles, he laughs, and I grew to learn and know that when he does that, that he's happy. And so long as Chase is happy, back then and now, that puts a smile on my face and his mother's face. I don't want to go on and on about answering that question because there's a million other questions coming in. I don't know how Chase adjusted from the divorce and moving from different households and parents. It's the great unknown. He seemed to acclimate fairly well. The home that he moved in with full time with his mom and the stepdad. I can't really talk too much on that because I never lived in that home and I don't have perspective. But Chase, he progressed during those years. Keep that in mind. Those years would be like 2004 through 2010 and even beyond. And he still lives in that household. And I believe that household has brought out great things in him, would be the best way for me to answer. Before I answer some more questions here, I want to kind of back up. This stream started at 3 o'clock. It's the first of its kind. I've never done anything like this on a super chat. I got 2 different computers going here, and I got some music playing in the background, and people had asked for a Q&A, so I put it off. Not that I didn't want to do it, but I wanted to make sure when I did do it that it didn't have any hiccups. And it did at the beginning of here about 3 o'clock when I started this, but we're streaming from the iPhone and we got the computer going in the super chat. Is Chase aggressive sometimes? No, he's not. Chase has never been that aggressive type of autism. The only exception I can think of that of Chase being aggressive is if he doesn't have very many meltdowns nowadays, but when he did, he would be aggressive, but not necessarily directed towards himself or other people. He would just be upset, and because he's very strong and he's a boy, I mean, look out, because there were times when he accidentally would knee me in the gut or in the groin, and I would be like in tears. It would be so strong. But he, I would try and calm him down by hugging him or something. It was incredibly strong in how powerful he was. But no, he's never swung at anyone or punched anyone or hit anybody. He's never self-harmed himself. He's hit himself in the head many times in the past when he would be stimming and stuff, or doing some of this stuff and some of that. But he hasn't done that for many, many years. And I don't think of that as a form of aggression, really. I have to tell myself to be patient on this stream. I'm like overwhelmed with all that's going on here. Have I been diagnosed with neurological disease or anything? This question comes up constantly. A. Purdue is asking if I have any neurological issues or been diagnosed with some of this. No, I do not. I do not have any neurological problems. I have been tested. I do not have Parkinson's disease. I've had essential tremor disorder since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I've always had the shakes. as I'm getting older, my head is trembling a little bit more and stuff. But I just went to the doctor recently, and I do not have Parkinson's disease. There is no blood test for Parkinson's disease. Um, so if I have it, I have it, and there's nothing I can really do about it. It's not something that affects me or worries me or anything that I ever think about. And yeah, I had an MRI scan many years ago, obviously for tumors in the brain or anything like that, and it came back negative. So I used to take medication for it. It's called Inderal, and I recently looked back into it. That medication just stops the shakes essentially, and they wanted like $50 a month, so I just said, forget it. So there's to answer your question. Um, does Chase and Mom and your new wife get along? They've only met two times. Does Chase have school tomorrow? Yes, he does. You don't look old. Well, thank you very much. I'm 46, and I'm a runner, and I exercise, and I try to take care of myself, which goes back to taking care of Chase, because the longer I can be around and Chase's mom can be around, the better, right? You're really amazing with Chase. Do you say you're from Chicago? Yes, I am from Chicago. Do you and Chase spend any time in the city? I lived in the city for 10 years, so Chase knows the in and out of downtown Loop area very, very well. Carmen has one kid. She is 17 and a half years old, and she is a doll. She's in some of the photos from our trip to Washington last week, which is on Facebook. Her name is Alex. How will Chase spend his time as an adult? I don't know. This question keeps coming up, you know. Chase graduates from high school in June or May, and he will continue in a program that's publicly served by Chicago Public Schools in the state of Illinois, and that school will continue to teach him life skills and perhaps some specific industry skills. And his mom and I are going to have to talk much further about that. She controls that. And is he going off to college? No, but could he learn specific skills over the next 6, 7, 5 years that he could put into a profession or an occupation? Absolutely, and I would not be surprised. Obviously, he has a tremendous skill at art and drawing and illustration and be able to freehand draw. So one idea would be to get him a program where he can master an online computer software design program system that he would use to illustrate and draw cartoon characters or whatever it may be. And he could probably master that computer program fairly quickly. That's typically what he does. But Chase will most likely live with his mom for several years into his 20s and continue to spend a good amount of time with me. That's all I know right now. So could he potentially get an apartment or a studio nearby his mom? Maybe. It would have to meet security and safety requirements for him to be able to do certain things. And he's a long, long way from that. A long, 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 long way from that. He's been cared for 24-hour supervision his entire life. So just think about that. Think if you were under supervision 24 hours a day up until age 18. Okay. Is there support living in the States? Yes, there is. Illinois is a pretty good state. What is your real name? My real name is Chad. Are you Mike Rowe's younger brother? No, I'm not. What is Chase's favorite movie? Toy Story. What are your thoughts on Chris Chan? Just in one word. I don't know who Chris Chan is. What does Carmen think of Chase? She loves him. She thinks he's adorable. She has a little bit of experience with autism. She's been incredible with him. You're going to see a lot more of that next weekend when she's in town, so you'll be able to see that for yourself. Chase likes spiders? I don't really know. What do you say his level of independence is? It's very, very young, his level of independence. I mean, it's just over the last 2 or 3 years that he's able to care for himself in the bathroom. And even nowadays, there's certain parts of his family that still care for him in the bathroom. I do not. At my house, he closes the door in the bathroom and he does his thing and he runs a bath and he gets the hot water going and he takes all his clothes off and he jumps in the bathtub and he cleans himself up. And he seems to enjoy doing it. And when he does it, before he goes in there, he comes in the kitchen and goes through all his animals and he takes out the one little clownfish and he puts that in a cup. He puts the clownfish in a cup and then he goes into the tub, and that's his routine at my house. And then he cleans himself up. And then he makes a mess in the bathroom. And then when he's out of there, I go in there and I clean up the bathroom. And I hang up the towels and I clean up the tub and everything. And, I go on that little rant there because you asked about his independence. His independence is fairly low. But he's never hurt himself. He's never hurt anyone else. He's never broken a bone. He's never had stitches. He's very coordinated. And he's very smart. And he's cautious around moving vehicles. And he's very aware of his surroundings for the most part. Oh, God. How does Chase act around other autistic people? He acts the same around neurotypical people as he does around other autistic people, to answer your question. He doesn't act any differently. He's still in his own little world. If you introduce him to somebody that is a helper or a teacher or an aide or an assistant, he will be very sweet to them and very kind and very nice. If any of you were here or introduced to him, he would just be very kind to you. He's a very sweet, loving, kind boy. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body. He is 100% innocent on every level. Hello, somebody said my name. Epiphany. Hey, Chad, is he self-aware of his issues? I don't know how self-aware he is of his issues. He's been hearing the word autism his entire life. You've got to keep in mind when you ask that question, he doesn't know what he doesn't know. He's always been in special aid, special needs environment his entire existence. So he doesn't know what he doesn't know. So for Chase, in his head, for his talents and his skills and his awareness of himself and the world around him, that's all he knows. He knows that, and he knows his sister. To the degree that he understands or comprehends what special needs he has, I don't necessarily believe that he does. I believe he thinks of himself as great and as normal and as awesome as anyone else. Could I be slightly incorrect in that? Maybe a little bit, but I don't believe that I am. I truly believe in my heart that he doesn't know what he doesn't know. And for his world, he's been a happy kid, and he's had a tremendous amount of love and support around him his entire existence, his entire life. So I'm going to try and adjust this a little bit more. Did Lalabab ask to upload your video to Facebook? Great question. Let's talk about the viral video. Oh. But before I do, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. I put up the video on YouTube of Conversations with Dad in summer of 2015, in May of 2015. And in September of 2017, somebody shared it on Reddit, and it got 400,000 views in one day. And the video was monetized, so it earned several $100s in one single day. Usually on my monetized accounts, I'll earn like $1 or $2 a month. Suddenly, the video makes $400 to $500 in one day, which is never my goal. Nobody's in this for the money. This is all about autism awareness. It's all about simply just showing people on YouTube an example of hope and of progress, and to believe and stick to therapy and ABA and stick with it and stay aggressive, especially those early ages when your child is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We were very aggressive with Chase and his therapies and speech therapy and occupational therapy. We spent everything we could. So the video was shared on Reddit, and when that happened, I got contacted by about 20 agencies. Thank you, Nickid Evans, for the donation. You're very kind. Thank you so, so much. Very kind of you. So when it got shared on Reddit, like 20 agencies emailed me and they said, we want to manage your video on YouTube and off YouTube. It's going viral. And I'm like, oh, great. Like, wow. I mean, my plate's already full. So I talked to a couple of these agencies and I educated myself about it. And I ended up on the phone with Storyful. It's called Storyful. They're out of Dublin, Ireland. And I said, you're not touching anything on YouTube. The YouTube account is mine. I manage it. I own it. I don't want anybody messing with it. And I'm not handing over any rights or anything to anything. And they said, fine. We'll just manage it off YouTube with a revenue share type of program. And so what they do, they're called Storyfuls. They're a video content provider for media outlets around the world. One of which would be Labable or Unilad. And so then they lease that out to those type of companies, and those companies pay a fee to Storyful, and any revenues or share feeds, I get a certain small percentage of that revenue, not a lot. And I agreed to it, and next thing you know, it went viral on Facebook. So through the different media outlets, mainly on Unilad and the other one. And so I guess I just answered your question. Yes, I gave them approval. Yes, that's all approved. And what else can I tell you about it? I told them to stop leasing it after the first 5 or 6 weeks. I won't get into reasons why, but it was certainly overwhelming for everybody in the family to suddenly have your son on everyone's Facebook feed. I mean, everyone, even my employers. So it's very overwhelming, but it's all good. It's all good. The video is adorable and sweet and pure, and it's so kind and so great. And Chase was in a very unique mood that day, so I started rolling film, and the rest is history. So let's get to some other questions. And thank you again for the $2 donation. It's very, very, very kind of you. Any donations on here go directly to Chase and a trust fund that is set up for him for what is potentially a lifetime long care for him. Which, what we will do for him is apply for state aid. His mother will apply for state aid for him, and his income level will be, basically zero for several years here. So that could change, I don't know, but for now that's the way it's going to roll. He turns 19 years old on July 1st, so he's an adult. Does Chase play video games? Chase likes playing Mario Kart, and he only plays at his mom's house. He won't play it over here. He's always loved Mario Kart. This goes back, a good dozen years or so. Just absolutely loves it, and he does real well at it. He gets very, very excited and very tense. There's many things about Chase that are no different than any other adolescent or teenage boy out there. He loves most of all the same things, Keep that in mind. But he mostly stims on videos as well on YouTube. That's where he spends a lot of his time. My eyes are starting to blur here, so let me squint and take a break here. Thank you, Von Reeves. You're so kind for the donation. You've been with me for months here, and all your comments, all your love and support, Von Reeves, I can't thank you enough. You are awesome. I love you guys. I'm losing track of adjectives to use for all the support and love that you guys give me and you give Chase. And when you do that, you're giving it to his entire family, his mother, his step-parents, his sister, and his grandparents. Thank you so much. This project will continue, and I love making the videos, and I've upgraded my cameras that you've seen here, and I've really worked hard at getting better footage and better editing software, and trying to brainstorm different ideas and stuff. And I'm even looking to network with other parents who have children with special needs and actually go to their home and videotape them and interview them, just as the other guy does on YouTube. What's his name? Special Needs for Books. He wrote the book, and he's interviewing around the world the special needs people just living with any special needs or people with terminal illness. And I've been checking out his page, and it blows me away. Thank you guys so much for your donations. You guys are unbelievable. Oh my God. Thank you, Animal Lover. I got a page up here. Thank you, Nickid Evans. You are so generous. Thank you so much. You were so generous and so kind. And hey, what more can I do is say thank you. Yeah, special needs by special kids. Thank you, Eros Sen. His channel's really affected me, and it's given me some additional ideas of things that I want to do. I actually have a good friend that has a boy with Down syndrome, and he's about 12 years old, and I want to do a meet and greet with him and Chase and his mom and videotape the whole thing. So that's on my to-do list. Then I have another friend up in Milwaukee that works with special needs kids, and I want to do a meet and greet with them. And I would love to do a meet and greet with, you know, a mom and dad that are raising a boy or daughter with autism, and somewhere in the Midwest, and just drive out there with Chase and document the whole thing and get it up on YouTube. I think it would be really wild. Hello, Dallas, Texas. But I'm not going to be driving towards, all over the place. Thank you, Allie McDonald. Thank you. I've never done this before, so to have you guys give all this support and all these questions, I did not foresee as many questions as I'm getting here, so this is blowing away. I'd love to come to Nevada. I was out in Reno a few years ago. So much fun. We went out to Lake Tahoe. Wild. So let me try and get to some of your questions again here. There's some great questions. I will say your name, Callie, if I could. Cal30, there you go. I said your name. Does Chase like the Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and well? He doesn't get in any of that stuff, and he doesn't show any interest. He's all about GameCube. Hello, stunt guys from Saudi Arabia. Best wishes to Chase and you, bro. Really, you inspired a lot of parents around the world. Wow. My pleasure, you guys. My pleasure, Saudi Arabia. My pleasure to everyone around the world watching this, including Sam Hussan. Hello, Sam Hassan. Wow. Incredible. Hello, London. Vandel Creations. Hello, Baby Felix. Hello, Amelia Messenger. What does Chase like about Christmas? The music and opening presents. And somebody asked me the other day, does he believe in Santa? Very good question. Honestly, I think he does. I really think he does. It's a great question. Is autism a generic gene? Let me see if I can get to that question. Some of these questions disappear off my screen, so I don't even know how to pan up on the page to get back to them. That's how I knew I am to this. Nobody knows what causes autism. There's nobody in my extended family anywhere that has autism or mental illness for that matter. Chase got diagnosed at 18 months. Chase regressed right after his vaccinations and his MMR. So for those early years, we sat there scratching our heads, going, "Is there a correlation there? Is this a coincidence?" So I don't know. We have no idea what caused his autism, nor do we sit around thinking about it anymore. When my grandmother stated some of those things in the video the other day, everyone's firing a lot of these questions about, what causes autism? What caused? And there was an insinuendo that vaccines causes autism and stuff. This channel is about autism awareness. It's not about what causes autism. And I just want to stick with that and not get in any debates about this, or that. None of us know what causes autism until a scientific proof can be displayed right in front of us. And just like what we know causes, I don't know, we don't know what causes cancer. We have a lot of concepts and ideas and stuff, so um, I don't know. Maybe some kids are predisposed in the womb, and there's a genetic mutation that goes on. And I believe over the next several years they will get to that gene. And if it's some sort of fragile X gene, something or other, then I don't know what solution it's going to bring. And I don't know why there's an epidemic going on in terms of diagnosis, but I believe a huge part of it is better diagnosis. There's no question about it. I saw your Instagram with Chase in the car and playing Christmas music with playing. It made my day to see him take off his headphones and really getting into the music. Well, Chase and I love music, and as you see from all my Instagrams, music is a huge part of my life. Music makes me happy. Music makes Chase happy. And hey, I don't know anybody that isn't affected by music. Music makes us all happy. And Chase has always been that way. He dances to music. Um, hey, before I forget, Von Reeves, I want to say thank you again. I love you, man. I absolutely love you guys. I love all you guys. And there's certain people that comment and just brighten my day like every single day on YouTube. And I never suspected this. What's up, Salam Malone? 18, living in Chicago, born on July 11th, 99. You know, you and Chase are 10 days apart. Wow. Salam Malam. It's eye opening to know that I'm learning so much from someone. Do you know someone, Salam Malam, that has autism? Like, what brought you to this channel? Are you careful with showing Chase things like the news and violence? I don't show Chase any of that stuff. I work in media, so I'm bombarded by it every day, Monday through Friday, non-stop. And on the topic of media, you know, the media that's fed out there in terms of public media is to generate reaction and response and attention, and try and design to hold your attention so it can grow an audience and so they can sell that to advertisers. That's their number one goal. So don't ever forget that. Be very, very careful what you believe in the media. Chad, I think some sort of cerebral DNA mutation. Animal lover, but it could be anything. I don't sit around and think about what it would be interesting knowing. I agree, animal lover. I don't sit around thinking about it. But back in the day, we actually filed for compensation through the Vaccine Injury Compensation. It was called the Omnibus Order. And they allowed, there were 10,000 of us of a class action lawsuit. And we all filed, and it was just thrown out of court. So, with the idea that, you know, maybe Chase had an allergic reaction. People have allergic reactions to all kinds of things, and vaccines is just one of them. Most people do not have allergic reactions to vaccines, and throughout the history of this country, the benefits of vaccination far outweigh any potential negative on society. So I could go on about that subject forever. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. Does your channel name have any meaning? Kimock7. You can go to Kimock.com and you'll see the website for one of my favorite musicians. His name is Steve Kimock, and he is the greatest guitarist on the planet. And he is part of the Grateful Dead community. And he was once called by Jerry Garcia as Jerry Garcia's favorite guitarist in the mid-'80s. And when I launched this YouTube channel back in 2008, I just wanted to call it Kimock, but it was already taken by Kimock himself. So I just said Kimock7, and the rest is history. So the channel does have a meaning. The name of Kimock7 does have a meaning. It pays tribute to somebody that is a huge part of my life, and I love him so fondly and so dearly. And his name is Steve Kimock, and he is an instrumental guitarist and the greatest guitarist in the world. And just YouTube Steve Kimock and watch for yourself. That's all I could say. Um, what do you like to do for fun? We know a lot about Chase, but it would be cool to hear more about you. All right. Well, number one, I play poker, and I play poker tournaments and poker cash games. I'm a skier. I'm a biker. I'm a runner. I'm a guitarist. I'm a singer. I'm a songwriter. I'm an artist. I love to draw. I love to create things. I love to make videos. I've been creating videos and little movie documentary videos since age 17. And a couple of those videos are on my YouTube page, and I'll try to put a link. One of them's, you could like search Kimock7 Toys R Us 1989 and you'll see one of them. It's my friend Brian and I going through Toys R Us back in 1989 making little home videos. Brian was my best friend throughout the mid 80s there, one of my best friends, and he was later diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenia, and it was one of my first early introductions to mental illness and mental disease, and it helped me prepare for raising a child with autism. What else do I like to do? I like to record concerts. I like to go to concerts. I like to see music in live settings. I'm a deadhead at a fish head. I saw 77 Grateful Dead shows between 1989 and 1995. And I'm sorry, 54, and I've seen 77 Fish concerts between 1992 and this past summer. So I go to concerts, and I have a ton of hobbies and a ton of interests, and I love computers. I love computer software programs. I love surfing the internet, and YouTube and making videos and creating different channels is a major interest of mine. I actually, by the end of next year, I hope to have a separate channel just for my poker vlogs and poker videos, which I stopped doing when Chase went viral. But you can certainly search Kimock7 Poker and you'll see all my poker vlogs. And I actually do have a third channel, which I've never told any of you guys about. So here it goes. It's called Radio Ad Sales, and I teach people about selling broadcast advertising. There's only about 5 or 6 episodes on there, but I'll try to put a link up here and share that for you guys in the near future. It's something that I haven't spent a lot of time in over the last 5 months or so. So I think I answered your question. I love vinyl records, and I love being out in nature. Carmen and I hope to move out west one day or move somewhere. I've lived here all my life, so I have a lot of interest in the outdoors in terms of fishing and hiking and biking and skiing. And my brothers live in Colorado, and I fell in love with Colorado, the Denver area and the foothills and the mountains. I've been going out there since 1992. And I go out there about 2 or 3 times per year, and I stay with my brothers, and we do it up. Chase has one sibling. She is 19 years old. She's away at college. I'm not going to say her name. I'm not going to tell you where she's going to college. All right? She is everything to Chase. She was Chase's best friend, and she still is. Without her, Chase would not be who he is. She was Chase's social outlet for many, 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 many years until she moved out and went away to college. So Chase is still doing well right now. I'm sure he'd be doing better if she still lived there, but here's his first time for him with her not living in the house. So, that may teach him something. I don't know what. I can't be specific. I don't live in that household, and it's kind of a hard thing to talk about. She is Chase's everything, and she absolutely adores Chase, and she's so good with him, and she's taught him so much, more than I have. So keep that in mind. I hope to have her in some videos in the future. I've asked for it, but so far she has requested to not participate, but she does participate in little things that she says to me and tells me, and just Kimock7 is not just me behind it. It is Chase's mom participating with different ideas, as well as his sister. So some of the things I say and tell you guys is a bit of a regurgitation of things that I received from his mom and his sister. Okay. If you guys recall the trampoline video of him drawing on the trampoline, that came from Chase's mama. Okay? Does Chase like school? He's always liked school. He's never fought it. There's been very few times where he didn't want to go to school or something. The schools he's been in have been, they're designed for serving his needs, so they've been incredibly wonderful. There were early on some schools that did not provide him the type of IEP that was specific for his individual needs, an individualized educational program. And when that would occur, we would sue the school district and settle with them outside of court to make sure that he received the aids and the special assistance that he deserved to receive a free and public education. Chase has always liked school, Those summer months could be tough for him. I mean, school is his social outlet. School is his opportunity to be outside of his bedroom. When he comes home to his mom's house or here, he spends a lot of time behind closed doors or in his bedroom and stuff, I can't speak directly to his time at his mama's house. Hang on. Somebody gave me a donation here, and it just went away. So thank you for your donation. Thank you so much. If I knew how to pan up the screen, I would say your name out here. I think I could pan up with this. Hang on. Thank you, Daisy Ellis, for $5. You are the sweetest, Daisy. What a pretty name. Does Chase ever visit her at college? No, he has not visited his sister at college, but I'm going to try and arrange that next year because it would be a good thing, and his sister would love it, and it's actually convenient, okay, for me to do that. Where is Chase now? Chase is at his mama's. You sound like a cool dude to hang out with, Chad. Thank you to the dude. His sister, they're taking his college, does like anything to do with the effect of Chase. I think your question is, does Chase's sister is not studying special needs. She's not interested in pursuing a career at this point in ABA therapy or special needs or teaching or any of that sort. I thought she would. She is an expert in autism, and maybe someday she'll use that knowledge to help other people. I don't know. Obviously I'm using my knowledge to help other people. Chase's mom does. Does Chase have SPD? What's SPD? How many languages does he speak? Chase speaks basic French and Spanish. And he learns that through different apps that are on his iPad. Those words in French and Spanish are specific to animals and objects, and they're not conversational. He's not bilingual by any means, but he can name maybe 100 words in animals in French and Spanish. He was at his mom's a school teacher, and she was outside the room one day, and Chase went up on the chalkboard and he made like 30 animals on there, and he labeled all the animals in Spanish, and all the kids came back in the classroom and looked up at the chalkboard just like puzzled what it was. So she shared that story with me recently. I thought that was just wild. What is the largest obstacle you have to overcome with Chase? Something that you thought wouldn't happen but did. Will Van Gundy, your questions are incredible. What is the largest obstacle you have overcome with Chase? Something you thought wouldn't happen but did. Well, we were told Chase would never speak. When he did start speaking at like 8, that was an awakening, just like that movie Awakening. I think with Robin Williams. Am I correct? It truly, honestly was an awakening, and it gave me chills on those days when it happened. And so the biggest obstacle to overcome was all those years of intense therapy with him, in the home, outside the home, seminars, private school settings. I'm talking as early as age 2, we had him in therapy, in and out of the home, going to different places at age 3, 4, 5. I wouldn't even call it preschool. These were private, small little new, you couldn't even call them schools. They were like startups that would have some ABA therapists there, and we would pay them a fortune to do ABA therapy with Chase to try and get him to talk. And for years, you just never know what good it's doing. And sometimes he would fight it. Sometimes he would get upset, knowing that, okay, now he's got to do his therapy. So to know that all of that time and effort on our part and on Chase's part and on the teacher's part all came to fruition. And you're seeing it on the YouTube. You're seeing it in these videos I'm putting up there. That's the satisfaction. Because, we spent everything. We spent everything we got. Everything we got. Everything. There's tremendous sacrifice on Chase's mother's part and on my part. And it had a tremendous effect on our relationship. And, the rest is history with that. So, Will Van Gundy, great question. And I'm not surprised I would get upset. I mean, not upset, but emotional. So, um, yeah, it's, don't get me wrong, it's still hard now, but to see him have some functional abilities and stuff, there's little things that he does here in my house and in the kitchen, and I get chills because I never, ever in a million years thought I'd see it happen. And I'll give you some examples. He's starting to have these facial expressions to me. Like I'll ask something across the room and his eyes will go up and he'll look at me, and he has this nonverbal language that is so normal, like any human would. And when he does that, I'm like, wow. There's so much of him that is normal. There's so much of him that is not autism. It's not autism, you know? And it's an ongoing, continuing, constant education or constant progression with him. My understanding and everyone's understanding around him of what could he be, what could come of him, you know? Could he, like my dream for him would be he gets enrolled in some sort of program over the next 3 or 4 or 5 years where, that program is designed to make him an intern of sorts in a specific profession that wishes to hire people with autism to do X, Y, and Z. Chase could do all kinds of things. He's more than capable. And he has to do something because what's the alternative to him not working? What is he going to do with himself if he's not in school? Thank you, Miss Elaine, for the donation from the UK. It looks like 10 pounds. You're so kind. You're so generous. You're so thoughtful. You're so kind. Any donations on the stream are going to go to Chase's trust fund, to his mother, for his future care and his future needs, whatever those may be. I will continue to be a big part of that as well. And I want to get back to something that Will Van Gundy had asked there when I got all emotional. Is we literally spent everything that we had on Chase. There were checks that I would write for $750 per month out of pocket to this place called the Race School. And, you know, at the end of the month, we're living paycheck by paycheck. You know, you're supposed to save for years for your child's college education. You know, not supposed to, but it's probably a good idea. And I've always done a poor job of that, and I'm trying to play catch up now. But early on, we had some money, and we put it all on Chase. I mean, all of it, like $100,000 invested in Chase's therapies throughout his lifetime, and every single penny of it was worth it. Because look at him now. And yeah, so let me get on another question here. YouTube and the word autism and all that, are you fighting that? There's nothing I could do about it. I can write YouTube, I can message them, and I have. And I know Fathering Autism has tried to do things in the other autism channels. The word autistic is being used in the algorithms as a controversial word. Let's get off the idea that it's a bad word for a second, or it's an inappropriate word. Advertisers, they shy away from associating their product or brand with any topic that could be deemed as controversial or inappropriate. And that's their freedom of choice. Keep that in mind. So if you're an advertiser on YouTube and you want to drop, I don't know, $1,000 next week, you can actually select all the different data and algorithms and metrics to set where your ad runs. And unfortunately, YouTube has made a mistake in their algorithms where the word autistic was thrown in there. And autism. And I think it'll get fixed. For now, it has not been fixed. In fact, I think my whole channel's been flagged. And so when I went in here to do the live feed of today's live feed, it automatically demonetized it. Automatically. Because it sees my channel as a channel about autism. So that's how bad it is. Thank you, Eve Elsewhere, for the donation. Thank you so much. Eve Harlow. Thank you, Eve Harlow, for the donation. You're so kind. You're so generous. Making these videos and running the YouTube channel has been nothing but a thrill. Nothing but my privilege and fun and love. And I love doing it. And you can see from the videos that Chase and I have a blast with it. Chase has been really having fun watching the videos on my iPhone after they're made. Like Swedish Candy. I have sent the Swedish Candy. Hope it will arrive soon. Thank you, Byborn, Byborne. Thank you for the very generous donation, Byborn. Wow, you guys are off the charts. You're in the Christmas mood. You're in the giving mood. Wow, thank you guys so much for the donations. What was I saying? Chase scripts, and he always has scripted. But what's been interesting lately is he is enjoying watching himself script on YouTube. He just gets such a kick out of it. So after I'm making some of these videos, he's grabbing my iPhone and he's pausing and watching himself script different scenes in the Toy Story movie. That's been really, really wild. And he'll pause and rewind the videos and watch the same scene over and over. He will stim on my YouTube videos. He'll stim on himself on YouTube. To the degree he does this at his mother's house, I don't know. But when he's over here, he's been, he typically will have several different devices going up at once. Lately, when he comes over to my house, he grabs my computer, he grabs his computer, he gets them both up and running. So he'll have one computer playing Gene Autry music, he'll have another computer with Zaboomafoo running, and then he'll have my iPhone in his hand and he'll be watching himself on YouTube. So he's got all three things going on. He's a multitasker. As you can see from the videos, he's very, very fast. What is stim and script? Um, so I've got 80, 50, I got 20 questions flying in front of me at once. This is hard to do. God. Scripting is when the person with autism is repeating something they heard, typically facts, figures, dialogue from a movie, and they repeat it all day long, sometimes the same sentence or phrase all day long, sometimes for days and weeks, and sometimes for months. Chase says sometimes in his lifetime repeated the same phrase for months. Trying to give an example. Like back in the day with Dora the Explorer, he would walk around like during the day, go backpack, backpack, backpack. Nowadays, it's Woody is a pull string puppet, and he just repeat that all day long. Stimming, on the other hand, would be defined as doing repetitive behavior over and over and over all day long. For example, he's been coming to my house for 2 years, and for 2 years repeatedly saying he wants to go to Anthony's house. That would be a form of stimming, obsessive compulsive behavior. You know, people with autism, it's like sometimes a record player is skipping, and they're skipping, it's just stuck on a thought or an idea. So Chase will watch the same video and pause the same scene over and over and over for hours on end. That would be considered stimming. Stimming sometimes could be perceived as an unhealthy behavior. And for the parent with autism, we try and transition them often away from stimming on something for a long period of time. Oftentimes, that repetitive stimming behavior will upset Chase, and it will leave him in tears because he just gets overwhelmed with that same thing. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you woke up tomorrow and you listened to the same song for 8 hours. I mean, over and over and over. And you listen to like John Mellencamp's Pink Houses for 8 hours, over and over and over. Well, at the end of those 8 hours, you're going to be pretty upset. You're going to be sick to your stomach of John Mellencamp's Pink Houses. You're going to develop an aversion for it. So there's, I hope I explained that well. I'm reading some of your questions here. Does Chase want to pursue YouTube? I don't know. How long does it take Chase to memorize what he is scripting? It's instantaneous. There's no memorization going on. Now, if you think Chase is, I wouldn't use the word memorize because for him it's very different. For you and I, we may have to like memorize, but for him, I don't think of it like that. His brain doesn't work like that. His brain is immediate. It's hearing or seeing something one time and he instantly has it. We all have photographic memories. Everything on today's live stream is recorded in our brain. The person with autism has the ability to not only record that information, but immediately express that information word for word or numbers or spelling far better than the neurotypical person would or I could. So I hope I'm explaining myself there. I don't think of Chase as memorizing things. For him, it's more like that computer brain of his. He has that ability and that skill, you know. You can't really ask him to do it. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't say, okay, memorize or script this scene. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, autism is a gift in certain respects, and it's a major problem in other respects. You know, Chase will probably never be able to get married, never be able to have kids, never be able to drive a car, maybe never have a relationship with the opposite sex. There's many things Chase will never be able to do, but that doesn't and should never be construed or thought of as not him not being happy. You know, happiness comes in many, many forms. He's a very happy child. Is he missing out on a lot of things that I did as a teenager boy? Yes, he is, but a lot of those things are the unknown. He's never done them before. I lived on my bike. I was never home throughout my teenage years. I fished. I was out golfing. I was down by the river. I was constantly on the go outside the home. I basically had free reign to do whatever I want. He doesn't do any of those things. I don't know what the future is going to bring. So he gets very high anxiety around moving objects like a roller coaster or a ride or a bike or a jet ski or a wave runner or a boat. A lot of anxiety there. So he doesn't get a lot to do a lot of those things. Yeah. All right. Does Chase have any tics? Great question, because he just developed a tic over the last year. And I can't believe this question came up. It's an unbelievable question. I'm glad he doesn't have the Kimock7 tic of the shakes. I don't consider my shakes a tic, but if you watch some of the videos really closely, Chase does some of this with his jaw after he says something. So he'll say something and then he'll say something, go, and it just developed over the last year or so. And I don't know what it means. I don't know if it's considered a tic. It's very interesting. It's very peculiar. He never did it before. He's always had tons of strange behaviors throughout his entire life. You know, those are very typical for the young boy with autism. If you've ever studied any of that, he did all of it. You know, he's a spinner, he flapped, he hit his head, he liked to be upside down on the couch. He liked to spin in circles. He would look out of the corner of his eye and spin. He would line up objects. You name it, Chase did it. And if there's like 30 things that would identify someone with autism, he had basically all of them. And some of them he's grown out of. He's grown out of a lot of them. Okay. I'm looking at your questions. I'm getting exhausted. But we're going to keep the stream going as long as you guys want, because I cleared my entire afternoon. So that's how much love I have for you guys. I wanted to do this much longer ago. Does he like pressure and sensory things? Yes, he does. He loves being hugged. He loves being squeezed. He loves being wrestled with on the bed or on a couch. He loves to be tickled. And he would allow you to tickle him for literally over an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm not kidding. So he will often say, come, like, tickle, tickle, tickle. So if he walks up to you and say, hey, tickle, 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 that means he wants that pressure and affection from you. You literally just get on top of him and squeeze him, and he just absolutely loves it for all the obvious sensory reasons. We haven't really used any other sensory objects with him. It's not been a huge part of his life over his years. We did do a gluten casein-free diet with him for like 3 or 4 years when he was much younger to see if it helped his vocabulary or his constipation. It did not seem to help. It did not seem to make any difference, so we gave up on that. We kept him off all dairy products. Don't get me wrong, I think the better diet your child with autism has, the better. I think it can only help, but it's not a huge theme in Chase's life. And Chase's mom and I do not make any huge or tremendous effort to control his diet. We're just happy eventually that he started eating, because his eating habits were so rigid for so long. All he would eat was chicken nuggets for a decade. That's it. Nowadays, he's expanded his horizons to pork and beef, and he's a meat guy. He's a meat kind of guy. Hello, Alexander. How are you? Yeah, Miss Elaine. Yeah, she says she hates being touched. I saw your comment, Miss Elaine. Chase is not like that. Chase is the boy with autism that likes being touched. He likes being kissed. He likes being squeezed. He loves being hugged and tickled. He's never been that way. Yeah, he's tactile defensive and he's very rigid in certain things, but hey, Alexandra, how are you? Uh, thank you for tuning in. Um, God, there's so many questions. Uh, oh, it's Carmen tuning in. Okay, thank you, Carmen. All right, you guys, I'm going to take a 2-minute break and use the restroom, and we're going to be right back. Hang on. All right, all right, all right, all right. I'm ready for round 2. Here we go. Here we go, here we go. All right, we're going to reposition the phone. We're going to go up here. All right, guys. Here we go, round 2. We're going to keep looking at your questions. Everybody say hello to Carmen, my baby girl, my wife. She is on the super chat here with the code name Alexandra. I'm going to say something here about step-parents and autism. It takes one hell of an open heart and a special person to open themselves up to a marriage, marrying a man or marrying a woman that has a child with autism. So let's give a huge thumbs up to Carmen and to Chase's stepdad, whose name is Billy. You guys are the best. Cheers. I could not imagine being in that position. Let me try and adjust this one more time. Okay. Miss Elaine, I'm so glad you love Chad. I love you for that. Okay. Yeah, hey, this is actually my 3rd marriage. And the 2nd marriage, she had a really hard time dealing with Chase. Dealing's not the right word, but there's no real preparing for it. You're taking on a lot there. So while you, everybody out there, step parent to autism, you guys are incredible. Do you and your ex-wife talk about what life could be like if ever? Just hang on. What is that question? What life could be like if you ever had a child with a disability before you had kids? Do you think it's an important conversation to have? What life could be like if you ever had a child with a disability before you had kids? Do you think? I don't understand your question. I don't really understand your question. I tell you one thing, we were in a big gung-ho to get married in our early 20s and have kids. And the whole idea of could one of our children be diagnosed with special needs? Never crossed our mind. I don't think it crosses anyone's mind. No preparing for it. I didn't know what autism was. It was, there is no word to describe how overwhelmed I was and Chase's mom was when we learned of his diagnosis. There's no words to describe. Shock, there's one word. Okay, here's some questions. Talking before you had Chase, did you ever talk about the what if? No, we did not talk about the what if. Never. We were young, moving too fast. You know, we were mature on one level in terms of our education and our focus, but immature on the whole other idea that, you know, should you be trying to have kids at age 25, 26 years old? We married at age 24, 25, and we had our child at age 27. I was changing diapers. And, you know, when you're in your mid-20s, we were incredible parents. I mean, great parents, both of us. And we still are. But, you know, obviously the marriage didn't last. I won't get into the reasons why. But as many of you know, when you have a child with special needs, 80% of those marriages end up in divorce. So it could be a real challenge. The focus a lot of the times becomes about that child, and that becomes the sole focus. I'm not saying that was the reason for us, but it certainly is true for many other families. Chase loves his Flaming Hots. Well, let me tell you why Chase loves his Flaming Hots. You can Google this. Flaming Hots give children with or without special needs a high. They literally get high off it. They get high off the sugar and the salt and the spice, and it gives them a rush. And it's no different for Chase. And there are actually people that gorge themselves on Flaming Hots. You can study it on YouTube and online. I've read about it. And it's absolutely nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So we try and minimize how much Chase gets the Flamin' Hots, and I need to do a better job of that. So there's your topic on that. What are Flaming Hots? Well, they're potato chips. Hey, they're great. What do you think will happen with Chase in the future? Will he be independent someday? Sorry, I keep repeating the question. It's okay if you guys repeat questions. Don't even hesitate, because the questions are flying by my screen. I already answered this question, but to give the Cliff Notes answer, his future is the great unknown. Will he be independent someday? I believe he will, but there's a long way off from that. He still requires 24-hour supervision. He has nothing but love and support around him, and I think he will continue to be very happy and progressing towards a bright future. So there's my answer. Does Chase love mathematics? Not necessarily. He does real good in math classes and gets good grades. Does he love mathematics? I wouldn't necessarily believe so. Does Chase take medications? Chase does not take any medications, nor has he ever. His mother and I have always been on the same page on that topic. It comes up periodically. We have talked about it periodically, but not in depth. He is all natural. We do not believe that his symptoms or his traits of autism need to be medicated or should be medicated. He does not self-harm. He is not aggressive. He's not aggressive towards other people or himself. He's progressing. He's no danger to anything or anyone. We all have anxiety. Chase is no different. And I believe that Chase himself has done an incredible job, especially the past through his puberty years, at teaching himself how to calm himself down naturally. And I say that as a real focus there, that for him specific, I'm just talking about Chase. This has nothing to do with anyone else's child. But for Chase, his mom and I have always believed that that is the best course of action. There's no medicine for autism. There's no cure for autism. There are certain things out there that can calm your child down. We all know what they are, and we've never gone down that route. We love that he's all natural. We love that we're not experimenting on him, you know? And that was always the theme when that topic would come up. We haven't talked about it intensely, but there have been occasions over the years, and I would just be like, you know what? Well, he's not going to be the test pilot for this or that. We're not going to use him as a guinea pig. We're not going to try this. Once you start yourself, like if I think of myself or anyone else, on something, I don't care what it is, you have to have a beginning, middle, and an end, and so many people don't have an end. You know, you get on whatever it is, and okay, well, what are you going to do 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Let me also preface this, that I know that there are a lot of special needs children out there right now that are receiving a lot of positive effects from the cannabinoids, from the cannabis oil cannabinoids, you know, the non-high version. You know, you guys know what it is. So it has no THC in it, but no THC, but it is the cannabinoids that have a calming effect, if you will. And I know they're being pitched as they're not drugs, but in the end, essentially, they are something that is being put into the body to calm down the brain. And I know that a lot of parents are happy that they've gone down that route, and that's great. And I applaud you, and I'm glad it's helping. And each case is different, you know, and Chase is just one case. So there's my long-winded answer. I do not ever foresee a point where Chase will be on, CBD oil. Correct. It doesn't get you high, but whatever it does, it's a calming effect. And I'm no expert in it. I actually studied it extensively the last couple weeks, and it reproduces an actual chemical that's already in the human brain. So it produces more of that chemical, and that's why it works. CBD oil. So, you know, the opposite could be said, well, what would Chase be happier with it? I don't know. He's happy as he is today, you know. Was it hard to develop the bond that you have with Chase today? Not at all. Very, 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 very easy, very natural for me. I'd say the biggest challenge, and Carmen's well aware of this, and I've expressed it to her a lot the last couple of years, is that Chase is extremely rigid in things that he will or will not do. And there are times when I get frustrated, and I'm like, all right, I got Chase this weekend, and it's the dead of winter, and I know he won't want to do anything. He won't want to go here, he won't go there. All he'll want to do is go to Anthony's house. And that can be very, very frustrating for me. Very, very frustrating. But I've done a much better job of it, especially the last 6 months or so. Let me stop for a second here and thank all you guys for tuning into the live stream. It's been going since 3 o'clock. We're having a lot of fun. We've answered a lot of questions, and we'll continue to go till like maybe an hour and a half more, until my throat dries up or my eyes bulge out of my head. Does Chase have a nickname? No, he doesn't have a nickname. You know, his family calls him Chase Man, Chasey. I like to call him Chase. We do call him the Monkey Man, so I guess he does have a nickname, and that would be the Monkey Man, Monkey Boy. Why? Because for many years he screeches like a monkey, especially in the morning when the sun comes up. He's very energetic in the morning, and he's got a lot of steam to blow off. He's a teenage boy. He's got a lot of hormones, and he's a very normal teenage boy in terms of his physical presence. He's normal 100% in terms of his physical body. What was I going to say? Thank you guys for subscribing to Kimock7. Thank you guys for always commenting. Thank you guys for sharing the videos. Thank you for supporting my channel and Fathering Autism's channel and the Volo Vlogs channel and the other special needs channels that are out there. The more we can grow this, more maybe YouTube will get the picture that autism and autistic is not a bad word. It's not a controversial word. Hopefully advertisers will not see it as what's considered blue programming, which would be considered controversial or inappropriate. It's really ridiculous. And the more that we all, somebody said I don't support Lola vlogs. Well, I mentioned that because, I find a little bit of interest watching him and his son. Hey, it is what it is. I know on everyone's channel is a little bit different. So, where was I? Yeah, just thank you guys for supporting all this. It was just 90 days ago I had 2,000 subscribers. 2,000. So we're up to 34,000 this weekend. What's Chase's favorite dinosaur? He's always gravitated towards the big dinosaurs. The Bronchiosaurus, the Tyrannosaurus, the T-Rex, the Parasaurolophus, since he can spell it. Believe it or not, dinosaurs in general is not like a huge focus or interest for him. He made mainly like farm animals, fish, farm animals, stuff like that. Chase got diagnosed when he was 18 months. He lost all speech after his series of vaccinations, and he regressed in every way into his own little isolated world for a very, very long time. He stopped eating, he was constipated, he'd be up at night, he would be spinning and stimming and hitting himself, and all the signs of autism at 18 months and beyond that. And it all came on rather quickly in the spring of year 2000. So he was diagnosed by a pediatric neurologist, pediatric psychiatrist. We had second opinions, and he was diagnosed. Back then it was a different kind of diagnosis. He was diagnosed pervasive developmental disorder, PPD, and for many years there we thought he was severe autism until we'd meet people that were more severe autism. So, people that, you guys know what severe autism is. Just look on YouTube or study it. Chase was more along the lines of a medium autism, especially now that he speaks. Every person with autism is different. I've met dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of other schoolmates with autism. So that was a huge eye-opener for me, because I would see that, wow, Chase has certain skills that some of the others don't have as much as him, especially in the topic of speech. Speech, speech, speech. Chase can talk. Chase can socialize. Chase can walk right up to you and tell you what he wants. Chase doesn't talk about his emotions. You guys, let's not get into debate on here about Lolo vlogs. To each his own. If you guys want to talk about that separately, you guys can. But whatever. You guys do whatever you want. I'm not going to be Mr. Censored Discreet here, but I think Lolo's vlogs, he's only doing good, if you ask me. So the guy's bringing awareness about his son on YouTube. So all of our YouTube channels are different in their own ways. Abby and Chase are so different. So different, obviously. And Abby lives with his mom and his dad and his brother. Whereas Chase, visits me. I'm his dad that doesn't live with him. I live 60 miles away. It's a very, very different setup. Okay, let's get on to some more questions here. Yes, Chase loves music. He loves Christmas music, Willie Nelson, he loves Dean Martin as his favorite. Does Chase remember things straight right away? After reading it text several times, can he repeat it without reference? His knowledge of things is amazing. Yes, and I just answered this question earlier, but I know you guys were all tuning in at different times. We all have photographic memories. We all memorize things immediately, and it's input in our brains automatically. So it becomes the challenge and skill of each of us individually. Do we have the ability to then regurgitate that information that our brain soaked up? Chase has a unique ability. So he has that information instantaneously. Absolutely. He's got it right away. And you can't ask him to regurgitate it. You can't ask him to recite it. It's not how it works. So he is going to recite things at his own leisurely time. And he's reciting it because he is scripting. Why does he script? Because it relaxes him. It's fun. And for some of us, for us neurotypical people, we have a filter for things that are being thought in our brain. But for Chase, that filter's oftentimes not there. So he's just going to come out and say it. So he scripts. He scripts because it calms him. It's something that he can control in his environment. It's something that he can control about his life. You know, a lot of his life is controlled. So for the things that he can control, the things that he can decide to do, those are one of the things that he can decide to do. The person with the autism brain, the brain with autism, they're hypersensitive. And for that part of their brain, the frontal lobe, there's so much going on that some of that has to come out. And it comes out in the form of stimming, verbal stimming, echoing, echolalia. It's all the same thing. Repeating what he hears. Repeating what he hears. Repeating what he hears. Not necessarily repeating what he reads, but repeating what he hears. So if he's hearing it, and then that audio turns off, the audio is still going on in his brain, more so than it would be for you and I. So if you and I listen to John Cougar's Pink Houses tomorrow, and then the song ends, it's still going on in our brain. We may still be singing it, but for the person with autism, it's way, 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 way more. Plus, he's hearing things differently than we hear things. His hearing is hyper sensitive. It is supernatural in certain respects. That's why he wears the headphones, to try to control some of that environment. His touch, his taste, his eyesight, his hearing, his feel, his pressure, everything's out of whack. It's all hypersensitive. For the neurotypical person, all of our senses work interchangeably. They're all perfect. They're nicely balanced. Not perfectly balanced, but for the person with autism, it's not balanced like that. There's a lot of imbalance going on. A lot of imbalance. And because there is, that influences stimming. So I can go on and on and on about that. And you see that in Chase's behaviors and everything. And it's very typical for the person with autism. Thank you guys for saying hi to Carmen and making her feel so welcome. She has a heart of gold. And we're going to be spending a lot more time this next summer when Carmen moves here and moves in with me here in Chicagoland. And she'll be seeing a lot more of Chase, and she's going to love it. Carmen, how does your daughter get along with Chase? They have not met. But they will in a couple weeks. You can answer that question, Carmen. All right, let me look up, see about your other questions up here. Am I answering your guys' questions well? How well am I answering your questions? Do you give me an A, B, or C? When will I travel to Philadelphia? I'll let Carmen answer that question. Carmen is my travel agent. She decides where we're going to go. And thank God she does, because I didn't really think of Washington, D.C. would be like my top, it wouldn't even be my top 10 choice to have a long extended Thanksgiving weekend. And oh my God, did she open my eyes to an incredible city. Washington, D.C. is so much fun, The museums are free. The monuments are everywhere. Quick cab ride to everything. Georgetown, the restaurants, beautiful. 5 stars. Unbelievable. We had so much fun. We're already planning on going back. I'd never been there since I was a young child, so here we go. Here's some more questions coming in. Is it possible for Chase to go to Anthony's house more often? Let's talk about that. Oh, thank you guys for the grade. Anthony is one child. He's about 10 years old. He's a normal child. He's neurotypical. He doesn't have autism, and he's only going to have a certain ability to relate to Chase so much. Anthony's my college friend. He lives like 20, 30 minutes away from me. And he has his own community of friends and family and things that he does. And I 100% respect that. I love the guy unconditionally. And, that date that happened 2 years ago was just a spontaneous thing. You can't just recreate something. The other 2 kids were there at Anthony's house that day are not Anthony's kids. They were some other kids. I can't control everyone's dates and future and appointments and parties. So, Anthony invites us to come over, and sometimes we go over and sometimes we don't. Sometimes I'm with Chase and sometimes I don't, but I'm not going to impose or try and force some sort of date or meeting to bring Chase over there. I will say this, on the last couple occasions that Chase did visit Anthony's house, I don't even know what word to use. Chase was pretty hyper. He was pretty, let's just say his autism shined through. I won't get into very descriptive of what I mean by that, but you got to understand too that not everyone understands autism like you guys do. I'd say most people have no idea. They do a lot more nowadays than they did 10 years ago, but still a lot of people are completely clueless. They don't understand. So I guess I answered your question there. Now maybe if Anthony had a son with special needs or with autism, it'd be very different, obviously. But I was actually chatting with Anthony yesterday, so we're going to try and line something up for next Sunday. And the guy's nothing but open arms of love about him, and just the best, and his wife as well, and their son. So there's my answer to that question. All right. If you make memory board, we'll have something physical to look at. If you make a memory board, he will have something physical to look at. Absolutely. So Miss Elaine brings up a good topic there that I'm creating a little memory board in his bedroom right now of all the gifts you guys are sending and all the notes and pictures and drawings and stuff. So it's in there and he loves it. So, part of his ABA therapy back in the day was to grab pictures of objects and hand them to us. So if he handed that to us, that was his way of communicating to us that he wanted to go to the playground or he wanted some chicken. And that's how he did it. I work with Project Focus. Hey, James, what's up? What Amando Matos, how are you? Coang, Miss Lang. Hello, Alana Founder. Alana Founder, despite Chase's autism, do you see a lot of yourself in him? No, I don't. If I was to think of myself and Chase, one huge answer is we both have that skill to focus on one task for very long periods of time. I have that skill. Chase certainly has that skill. So that would be one thing. I have stated that in the past, that Chase and I are like this. I can focus on one task for a long period of time, and I'm a doer, I'm a tasker. I can multitask. It's part of what I do at my job and my career. But, I don't have autism, and I'm an extremely social being. I'm a performer. I'm a singer. I'm everything. Chase is an isolated boy with special needs who doesn't have a lot of friends and a huge social outlet. I didn't grow up with computers. He lives on a computer. It's so vastly different.
But I want to get up to the question there that James, you asked a question. James says, I work with Project Focus, a program at the University of Arizona for individuals with IDs to become more independent. Have you looked into post-secondary education programs for individuals with IDs? What do you mean by IDs? Chase's mom is always on top of his education and his future, and she's going to be more capable of answering that question. But when you say, have you looked into post-secondary education programs for individuals with IDs, what do you mean by IDs? Intellectual disabilities. James, yes. So to answer your question, ID stands for intellectual disabilities. Chase's mom is all on top of that, and she's going to be making some decisions over the next 3 to 6 months, 9 months, of what Chase will be doing after he graduates high school. So I'll have more to share with you guys as that happens. And she may or may not relocate her address, which would affect and change what he does. So, as I stated earlier, the most ideal, and there's a couple programs here in Chicago, I was looking at it online the other day, that they train and hire people with special needs, specifically adults with autism in their 20s, like young 20s. So that would be perfect for Chase. I think that'd be a great starting point. What he would be doing, I have no idea. It could be simple assembly line work. It could be just, basic stuff. So that would not require him to speak or socialize. As we all know, there's thousands of well-paying jobs out there do not require you to socialize and speak to anyone. Keep in mind, Chase can read and write at the same level any 18-year-old can. His future looks very bright. And James, if you have ideas or things you want us to check out, send it over. My email is Kimock@comcast.net. Will we ever see Chase's mom? Good question. I hope so. And it's on my bucket list. She is an expert in autism. She's an expert in Chase. You guys got to understand that being as public as I am is not for everybody. Being on YouTube is not for everybody. Certain people love their privacy, and other people don't give a damn. And that would be Kimock7. So, I think what would be great is for Chase's mom to just talk about very specific subjects, and maybe she'd let me put it on the channel. I don't know. That's not something I'm aggressively pursuing. She has her own life and her own privacy, and it's a busy life, like we all do. So I'm not going to impose it upon her. It's she's already contributed that video of Chase on the trampoline, the video of Chase talking about Mr. Grinch, still Mr. Grinch. Some of those videos, those are all from Chase's mom. So give a thumbs up and a round of applause for her sending those videos and putting them up on Kimock7, because I know you guys love it. Whenever Chase sings, we're going to have more videos of Chase singing. He sings all the time. He loves to sing. And I'm going to try and teach him guitar. He's a very coordinated young boy. Let me read some of your questions. There's a cafe near me called Puzzles that hires people with autism. And some of the money goes to autism research. Thank you, Carly Brancato. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. Thank you, Haley Fowler. Yes, please give a thanks out to Chase's mom. It's still good to have something to do during the day. All right, I'm going back up on the questions here. What's up, London, UK? How are you, Gabby M? We love you guys too. Hey, people. Funeral groom, you guys brighten up my days and remind me of the positivity and beauty there is to be found in life. Thank you so much for posting your videos and raising awareness. You're welcome, funeral groom. I've always been an optimist. I've always had, I guess, a unique ability to see that the glass is half full and not half empty. I've always tended to believe that stress and challenges are temporary and that there's a bright side of the road coming up and that challenges and stresses are temporary. And through hard work and dedication and tenacity, that results will show themselves. I believe in planting seeds and watching those seeds bear fruit through hard work and watering the field every day and staying dedicated, staying true, and having a belief. Our belief systems control our behaviors every single day. So I wake up every single day believing that life is only going to get better, it's not going to get worse, and that my greatest challenges are behind me. And yeah, I'm a happy person. I have a lot to be happy about. And that's why you see me so happy. That's what there is to it, you know. And I wrote to somebody on Facebook the other day, because I get a lot of private messages with parents with new diagnosis that are struggling, they're depressed, they're really having a rough time, and I try and give them a pep talk, and I try and tell them that at the end of the day, just do all you can do, take pride in doing that you've done all you can do, stick with the therapy, and be hopeful. And take great pride in a hard day's work. And don't beat yourself up. Life is so short. There's only so much you could do for your child with special needs. You have to love them unconditionally, number one. And number two, take today's technology and availability of programs and therapies and just put them to work. And then sit back and be patient. Really patient. More patient than anything you've ever had to be patient for in your entire life. Entire life. You got to keep your bar low. You got to keep your bar low. My bar was always real low with Chase in terms of functional language and verbal skills and functional speech. I could go on and on about the topic for hours. You guys brighten up my day just as much as I'm brightening up your day. So thank you. It's a full circle of love. Nothing but love. It's easy for me to put out there love because I'm a loving person, and I don't understand people who are not. I don't understand fathers that are not involved. I don't understand fathers that are not engaged. I know autism can be very, very scary, but knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So I read all my books early on. And at some point, nothing about Chase's autism scared me anymore. Just don't even think of him like that. He's my son. He's my boy. I love him. And that's it. So, thank you, Tim Green. Tim said, you have taught me the meaning of patience with my own children who don't have autism, while my oldest suffers greatly from ADHD. I thank you for the videos. You're welcome, Tim. You know, earlier in this stream, which started at 3 o'clock, we've been going for 2 hours. And I got plenty of energy, which is fine. I failed to mention one thing because I think it was, what was his name? Tim, earlier? Of mentioning or asking me what was the greatest obstacle, the greatest challenge. And I'm going to try and say this without breaking into tears. So I'll try and be slow about this. Every time those first 7, 8 years I would meet normal children, normal boys that were the same age with Chase, I would typically break out in tears those evenings or those days in private. Because only then would this be like this overwhelming sense of like shock of how incredibly different Chase is. It actually happened to me recently. It's when I took Chase to that fountain at Apt Electronics, the Autism fountain, in one of the recent vlogs. There was this girl there who was like 5 or 6 years old. She couldn't have been 5 years old, maybe even 4 years old. And she walked up to me and she said, "Excuse me." And I looked down and like this kid was like 1.5 feet high. And I looked at her, I said, "Okay." And she looked at me, she goes, "Thank you, sir." And I'm like, oh my God. Like Chase didn't talk like that till he was like 10. This kid's like 3 or 2 years old. I mean, this girl looked like she still had diapers on, and she said, "Excuse me, sir. Thank you, sir." I was just like, wow. So back in the day, when I would meet these kids that were just neurotypical, just normal kids like I was, you know, my mouth was going at age 3 or 4, I would be overwhelmed with just this feeling of like, wow, autism sucks. Autism, like, Chase is stuck. Like he's stuck at this age. I mean, I'm talking about long ago in those years. Like stuck at like, I don't know, 2? He's stuck at age 2. And then when he would be like 6, 7, 8 years old, I'm like, he's stuck at age 2. Not just emotionally, but verbally, socially, everything. And whenever I would meet these other kids that were not autism, I would just be like, wow, 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 wow. Of course, all that changed. All of that changed. All of that changed. So nowadays, when I meet normal children, normal kids, I don't have any of those emotions. I don't have any of that. It's all so long gone. Anytime that I used to sit in with Chase's school classroom when he went to Easter Seals. It's going back like, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. That for me was a huge eye-opener because I got to meet all the other kids with autism. And that provided me such great hope and perspective that, oh wow, okay, here are some examples. I could tell immediately in those classrooms which kids did not have early intervention services like Chase did. I'm going to repeat that because this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say on this stream today. When I sat in with Chase's classroom filled with kids with autism, and I did on and off, not a lot, but on like 5 or 6 different occasions, boy, was it crystal clear which other students in his classroom did not have early intervention services. These kids were a mess. An absolute mess. But there was Chase. He could do tasks. He could sit at a desk, complete a homework assignment, and then get up and get a reward for it in the form of going in the playground section of the classroom or going in the sensory part of the classroom. And I took such great pride knowing that everything that we did those early years paid off. All the hard work that his mom did, everything that his sister did for him then and still does for him now, which is engage with him. Every single day of his life. Who is there to engage with him? His sister. Who's there to get him talking? His sister. His mom. And without them two in the integration services. So, yeah, it was very, very sad for me to witness some of these other kids in the classroom that just were a mess. So, there you go. All right. Let me try and get to some more questions here. You guys are firing away here, so I'm going to go up some of the questions. I'm glad you guys are talking with each other. Amy Kopler said, does Chase like to play with other kids his age? He generally ignores other kids when he's with me. I can only answer this question from my perspective. To the degree that he engages with kids at school, I don't know. He's not Mr. Outgoing with other people that he doesn't know. He will tend to ignore strangers he doesn't know. If the kid is his own age, no, he's not going to sit there and engage with them. I'll give you an example. I took him to the pool the other day. There was a boy in the pool that was about Chase's age. Chase doesn't make any effort to engage with another kid. But I will say this. I believe that he enjoys the presence or the camaraderie of other children that he may perceive as his own age. Like the company. I believe he enjoys company of other children his age. I have no idea how he would know what their ages are or not. How do I know that? Just by looking at his verbal body language. I've seen him smile at another boy or girl his age, where he might be playing around or stimming either in a bookstore or a playground or in the pool, and he seems to enjoy their company. But will he specifically try and engage with them verbally? Not in a million years. No way. Will he touch that person? No. Does he have any sort of affinity towards if it's a girl or a boy? Not that I've ever witnessed whatsoever. I've never seen him have any towards of attraction towards anything like that. But as you all know, he seemed to love playing Nerf guns at Anthony's house, right? Which was 2 years ago. Does he have a bunch of friends that he plays with in the neighborhood where he lives with his mom? No, he doesn't. Is it a challenge? Sometimes. I'm drinking a Busch Light, Camellia Carlson. A Busch Light. There it is. My sponsor, Busch Light. It is in what's called a donut koozie. The donut graphics is from the dress that the drummer of Fish wears in the band called Fish. That dress is also referred to as a muumuu, and that's where I got the koozie from one of the Fish shows I went to recently. So nowadays I try to, if I'm gonna have a drink, it's a Busch Light. So yeah. Jamie Winter says, I've been following your videos and vlogs for a while. You and Chase's bond is amazing. Chase is wonderful and such a beautiful soul. Thank you, Jamie. Does Chase have a favorite animal? Love your videos and the bond you have. Love Chase, smile. Okay, does Chase have a favorite animal? Not necessarily, no. I've asked him this question before, and I tend to think it's a lemur because he lives on Zaboomafoo, so I said it's a lemur. For a long time, he'll carry around with him, you know, the clownfish. Yeah, stuff like that. But a favorite animal? I don't believe he does. You guys don't have Busch Light in the UK? Oh, you guys are missing out. It's incredible. If you like water with that tastes like corn soaked in water with a little bit of sugar and salt on top, this is the beer for you guys. Busch Light, America's finest. I think it's brewed in Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. All right, let's stick to the topic. How's Chase doing today? I have no idea. I'm a huge fan. Hello, Rachel Cook. Thank you for joining us. Charlotte Ambrose, thank you for joining us. Camellia Carlson, Tim Green, Megan Reese, Kalia Whitmere. Did you see my comment? Kayla, ask it to me again and I will mention it. All right? Kayla Whitmire. Go ahead and fire it away. I'm staring at the screen right now. Did you go to acting school to become a movie star? You're a great public speaker. I did not go to any acting school, but I act in plays throughout high school, and I've studied acting just online and amateurished it. Um, I'm more of a musician than an actor, but I'm all amateurish. Nothing's professional. Yeah, I've been in bands, singer, stuff like that, but no, I'm not an actor. I have no professional training. But I loved doing it in high school. I was I was in Carousel, and I was the assistant lead in the Carousel. So I sing and blah blah blah. Chase has a creative mind. I agree, Miss Dean. What was your question, Kayla? Ask it again. How am I supposed to say that, Miss Yang? What's the pronunciation, Miss Yang? Thank you for tuning in. RF Gate, greetings from Greece. You from Greece? Wow. Oh my God. Thank you, RAF Gate 13. Greetings from Greece. Well, greetings from Chicago back to you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all your love and support. Did you consider getting Chase a ukulele to accompany singing? Well, I have a small kind of ukulele guitar here. I should buy him one that he has at his house, but that one is his Scarlett's. I mean, his sister's mainly at his house. He wouldn't play with that guitar unless he's with me. What is Chase's favorite thing to do at the moment? The playground, having his privacy, playing on the computer, going to Anthony's house. When I was born, my mom, Kayla Whitmire, when I was born, my mom and dad were told, put me in an institution, forget about me, that I would be nothing but a vegetable now. I'm almost 34, living with my mom and my stepdad and 2 nephews. Kayla Whitmire, thank you so much for sharing. Let's talk about your comment, because I think everyone on here can learn from your comment and this streaming. Number one, thank you for joining us, and thank you for appreciating the channel, and thank you for commenting and participating, because anyone with special needs that participates on this channel, what you're doing for everybody and for me is priceless. So thank you, thank you, thank you. As we all know, if Chase was born many, many years ago, or even just 20 years ago, I don't think he would have get any of the services that he had, and he may have been stuck in some sort of institution. I don't know what the word is. Recently I studied autism going back to the 30s and 40s, and yeah, it's really, really sad. And thank God your parents did not put you in an institution for what you're telling us. I'm just reading your comment here again. So I'd be curious to know if your mom and dad were told to put you in an institution, why didn't they? And what did they do? So I'd love to hear more from you of why didn't they, back then? Because it sounds like you're very glad they didn't. And, Chase may be living with his mom and his stepdad when he's 34. There's a good chance. I don't think he will, but I certainly wouldn't rule it out. So, yeah, I don't know more to say about your comment than that, but it's going to be a wild ride for Chase. It's going to continue to be a real wild ride. Let's get some more questions here. Thank you, Kayla. Kayla, you shared some of his drawings on social media. Thank you. Wow, we got someone from Egypt here. Atwa F1. Thank you. Tuning in from Egypt. Wow. Hello, Egypt. Hello from Chicagoland, Illinois, USA. I've never been to Egypt. Carmen and I just saw the Egyptian ruins at the Field Museum in Chicago, and it was just incredible. all the tombs and pharaohs and hieroglyphics and incredible. Hello, Stephanie G. Thank you. Quicksland, hello. Thank you guys so much for all your comments. James, if you could email that to me at Kimock@comcast.net, I will check it out. Carmen is my wife. We got married on September 1st, but before September 1st, she was my girlfriend. Well, my fiance. But before she was my fiance, back in May when we got engaged, she was my girlfriend. So, she was very patient with me. Yeah, I'll put my email in the description here. Oh, Carmen will be moving in with me in May or June of next year. Have you ever read the Horse Boy book? I don't think so. Hey, Vanessa Bromere, my pleasure sharing everything. Love it. Love you guys. It's 1:21 a.m. in Egypt. Wow. THOM, Tom the Bomb. How is Chase's potty training? We will talk about it. Give me a second. Thank you for the question. I watch all your videos and they make me happy. Hey, Odessa David. Thank you. I'm glad that they're helping and making you guys happy. Hey, Suzanne Lester. It's about a father who has an autistic boy and it's great. All right, send me a link. I'll check it out. Kimock@comcast.net. Does Carmen have kids? Yes, she has one girl, one daughter, who's 17 and a half. She is adorable. Have you watched Temple Grandin? I've watched everything about Temple. We've studied her from the early days, you know. She has Asperger's syndrome. So let's talk about Asperger's and let's talk about potty training real quick. Because I'm going to say something here and I mean it. I've never watched The Good Doctor, but I'm going to watch it. I find it difficult that the shows like it's called Atypical on Netflix, and then there's A Good Doctor, the other show. I find it difficult for me personally, knowing that Hollywood is publicly, in the form of a entertainment TV show, educating indirectly society about autism, rather than coming out and saying that these are very high functioning people with autism, otherwise known as Asperger's syndrome. Chase is so far from those two characters, obviously. And Chase has autism. He doesn't have Asperger's syndrome. So I think of them very, very differently. I don't think of the person as Asperger's syndrome as having autism. I think of them as having autism. I don't think of the spectrum. I don't think of autism spectrum disorder. For me, it's autism and Asperger's. And in autism, I think of it as very low functioning and kind of medium functioning like Chase. And high functioning autism, that's Asperger's. So I'm confused why they're not making that more clear in the episodes and in the dialogue and from the beginning of putting out these two TV shows, that these are not the typical person with autism. These are very high functioning savant adults that, yes, they may have certain traits of individuals with autism, don't get me wrong, but they have Asperger's syndrome. And I'm not going to go on and on about the differences between the two. I think most of you probably know. So, potty training. Tom, I think you asked about this. Chase has come a long way. He wore pull-ups and diapers well into age 10, 11, 12. He would have accidents here and there. Not at night, but sometimes in the strangest of places if he got really excited. the pool, a friend's house, whatever it may be. And he may not have a bowel movement for 3 days, 2 or 3 days. He doesn't eat vegetables. He doesn't eat fruit. At age 18 now, he's come a long way in that category. He still has certain issues of what's the word I'm looking for? Motor skills. On one end, he's a very coordinated person, a very coordinated 18-year-old, but on the other end, he still has certain motor skills. It's not important for him to be cleanly. It's not something for him that's important or need to be cleanly down there. And because it's just not a top priority. But nowadays, he's bathing himself in the bathtub, unsolicited. You don't have to tell him to do it. So if he feels less than cleanly or fresh, he will run himself a bath, and he will take a bath, which is incredible. I mean, he's come so long and so far that way. But yeah, for the first 10 years of his life, you're talking diapers, you're talking pull-ups, not 24 hours a day. The pull-ups are great because you can wear them sometimes, you don't have to wear them all the time. Certainly in the pool, you'd have to put something out 100% of the time. Thank you for the donation, Emily Gallagher. You were so kind, you were so generous. I'm getting a ton of love and donations from the UK. You guys are off the charts. Thank you, I love you. I'm gonna toast you my coffee right here. I'm gonna toast you my Busch Light. You guys are incredible. On the topic of potty training, really difficult. Really a challenge. Very difficult, especially for anyone outside of his parents or his grandparents. They can't deal with that. So at school, they keep wet wipes, diapers, well into age 10, 11, 12 for certain accidents. What else can I say about potty training? There's an awareness level there. The person with autism doesn't learn by example. Okay? You and I learn by example our entire lives. If we see that a puddle of water is near moving cars, we learn not to stand by that puddle of water. It's not that way for the person with autism. They have to be physically taught to not stand by the puddle of water while there's moving cars. And they may have to be shown that and taught it repeatedly. It's no different for the person in the bathroom, whether it's potty or poopy. So, hello, Miss Lane. It's Chad Kayla. That's my name, yes. Chad with 2 D's. We're going to put it right down here right now. Don't ever forget it. My mom was a stutterer, just kidding. So Chase he's had to be shown everything in the bathroom over the years, repeatedly. And he's come a long way. A long way. But, it would not be unusual, even to this day, for his grandparents to have to wipe him or use wet wipes. So, if you have any more specific questions on that topic, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to talk about it. I could do a whole vlog about that. Thank you for the donation. You're saucy. You're making me feel really saucy right now with that $10 donation. Your monetary love and support and donations on the Super Chat are going to go towards Chase's future and the trust fund that his mommy has set up for him. He's going to need the money, I'll tell you that much. One of the things I haven't said here on this live stream today is that Chase will continue to live with his mother and his stepfather for many years. And that comes with great sacrifice. And when I say great sacrifice, the sacrifice of earnings, the sacrifice of occupation and a full-time job. Chase's mom does have a full-time job now, but part of the reason she does is that Chase is in school for many hours of the week, 9 months out of the year. So that allows her time to do that. But there will be a day where Chase is not at school and somebody will have to look at him, look after him. Chase requires 24-hour supervision. Will there be a day when he does not need 24-hour supervision? I hope so. And I hope with today's technology that that's not too far away. So there may come a day soon in the near future, I don't know when, where Chase's mom will have to sacrifice her career to continue to supervise Chase. So whenever you have to sacrifice career, you have less income coming in. So you guys sending donations is unsolicited and you guys are just unbelievable. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from Chase's mom's bottom of her heart and Chase's entire extended family. All right, let's get back to some questions. You said previously he doesn't enjoy bikes and moving things, but what about airplanes? It's not that Chase doesn't enjoy bikes. I've never seen him ride a bike without training wheels. It's something that he's experimented with this on and off with his grandfather and his mom, but not with me. It's not something I've focused with him. He has been on an airplane once to Florida and it went pretty well. And I am looking to do it again with him sometime in the year 2018, either to Minnesota or to Colorado, or both. No problem if I make you tear up, you're saucy. I've already teared up twice in this stream, which I'm not surprised, but on the topic of Chase flying, so the MOB with that would be to book it and then talk to him about it for several weeks in advance and even go through like a dress rehearsal or walk him through it. So the idea would be either that is I'll take him to O'Hare Airport and say, hey Chase, in 4 weeks we're going to go to this airport, we're going to get on that plane, here's a map, we're going to go to this state and this Colorado and this is who you're going to see and this is who you're going to visit, here's what they look like, here's where they live, here's how long the flight's going to be, here's what's going to happen in the plane. You could bring your iPad, you can bring your Nintendo DS, you can bring the iPhone on the plane. It's going to be fun. You're going to have a great time, And he may look at me and go, no. He may just say, no. And I could say to him, do you want to go to Colorado and visit your cousins and your uncles? He could say, no. And if he does, then it becomes a challenge and a question of how to proceed forward. Sometimes when Chase says no, he actually means yes. Thank you, Patrick Pollock, for your donation. You're very generous and kind, and it's so greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys making donations are... To send over your hard-earned money is unbelievable. It's just absolutely unbelievable. You guys are incredible. I've been donating money this week as well. And, it's just very easy to do that when you absolutely love something and you absolutely love someone. And for me, it was so easy for me to give back to Easter Seals of Chicagoland. And they were looking for donations and I didn't hesitate. They've done so much for Chase. Their organization is so incredible. Hey, Miss Elaine, Fathering Autism tonight. Meat, grilled cheese. Oh my God, they are amazing. Does Chase self-injure at all? Chase is never self-injured. He's never self-injured. Now, back in the days when he stimmed a lot or would spin and stuff, he would hit himself like this or hit himself on the on the arm and stuff, but never to the degree that you would see other children or adults with autism, like the severe cases with a severe bruising, scratching, cutting. Chase has never done any of that. I believe, his early years for himself learning to live with autism, he would hit himself in the head a little bit, but never to the point where he was bruising stuff. But I haven't seen him doing anything like that in really long time. So to answer your question, no, just no. Hey, Miss, I do not do a Patreon yet, but I will. I have a Patreon. I got to put it back up, so it's on my bucket list. I will get it up. So right now, all I have on my channel is the buy Chase a coffee thing on there, and I have the PayPal thing linked up on there. So for $3, you could buy Chase a coffee on that link in the upper right-hand corner of my YouTube page. Obviously, Chase doesn't like coffee, but I will take that $3 donation. I will buy him some ginger ale. I will buy him some Flaming Hots. And lately, he likes Twist, like this drink, like Sprite Twist, something like that. What's your favorite thing to do with Chase when you guys hang out? Anything that makes him laugh. So he loves to be tickled. He loves to any physical affection really is precious for me, and just it puts a smile on both of our faces. That's way beyond just smiling, because it's on multiple levels, because he's mostly nonverbal. So if I can tickle him and see him just scream out and laugh his ass off, then that is just the greatest thrill. And that'll be in the form of tickling, taking him to the playground, the park. As you see in these videos, when he's out in nature and having such a great time, I take great pride in that. I love it. I'm very happy about it, to see him just content and calm. You know, for many years there, he was not this calm. So when he comes over here now and he's got his routines and his habits and behaviors and his routines, it's very calming for me and peaceful and nice and great, because it wasn't always that way. I'd love to sit here and say I could sit down and draw with him, but it's not like that. He draws nowadays in his own thing. I like trying to take him, experiment, do different things with him, which can be tough. Does Chase have OCD? Yes, I believe he does, and I believe most people with autism have OCD. But for the person with autism, we don't really think of it as obsessive compulsive disorder. We think of it as stimming. That's just from my perspective. I don't want to speak with the whole community when I say the word we, but stimming is a very obsessive compulsive behavior. Chase has very, very repetitive things that he does every day, routines, rigid, repetitive routines that he does, and he is obsessive about it. And if you interrupt those routines, he's probably going to get pretty stressed out. So I believe most people with autism have OCD. How are you handling that? Well, I don't think of Chase's behaviors as anything that needs to be handled or anything. I know it's very different from person to person, but Chase is a very happy child. Hey, Odessa David, I love your questions. My best answer is just watch the videos. Watch my YouTube videos, and you'll see how he deals with his OCD. He may have a much more lighter degree of OCD than you may have, or someone in your family has. I may be wrong in that, but there's no changing Chase in his behaviors that you want to do. If you try and convince him to not do something, he's going to get upset. He's going to fight you on it. What's up, following fan? I love you so much. Thank you for all your comments and likes on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. You're one of the best, and I can't thank you enough. And every time I see your name, following fan, I get a big smile on my face, because music and fish is a huge part of my life. And to know that there's fish fans following me that get it is pretty cool. Does Chase have a pet? Chase lives with 2 dogs. One of them's a corgi, and the other one's kind of I don't know what kind of dog it is. Like a big black, kind of looks like a shepherd type of mixed dog. They're both real sweet dogs. Again, he doesn't pay much attention to pets and dogs. It's not his thing. Has Chase shown any interest in a specific girl? No, Chase doesn't show any interest in strangers too much. He He engages with people he knows, and that's about it. Something to do around Christmas. Well, you know, Chase associates Christmas with Christmas music. So, and opening presents. Don't get me wrong, Chase loves opening presents at Christmas. Typically when he opens a present, he quickly wants to be done with that and get back to his own routines. He doesn't sit there and want to look at what he opens. He opens it, and then he wants to go about his business. And you see some of that with the gifts you guys are sending when I do we've done 2 rounds of opening fan viewer mail. You'll see how he is in those videos. How old is Chase? He's 18 years old. Chase does not show any interest in a career or job. You know, that's very premature. Chase is still very functional at a very young age emotionally. And all right. Let me take a potty break here, and we will answer the question about his headphones. May you explain what the significance of the headphone is he wear, and if it's not too forward. You guys can ask me any question on here. None of them are too forward. Thank you for your donation, Rachel McDonald. You are so incredibly kind. You guys from the UK are blowing me away. Wow. Are you guys like Mr. and Mrs. Moneybags over in the UK? Wow. You know, more than one person has expressed to me that there's a lot of services in the UK that are missing that the United States has and you guys don't have. So I hope what I'm doing on YouTube sends a message. I don't know what to say about that. A couple more than 2 people said that to me from the UK, that the services are hard to find, and that's horrible. Hang on, give me 2 minutes. Oh. All right, I gotta plug the battery back in. We're gonna plug my phone back in and move this back over. Oh, you know what? I could plug it into this thing. Hang on. We're gonna get this right. It's my little charger thing here. Damn, I got the shakes today. That's the everyday life of Kimock7, Mr. Shakes. All right. Hang on, we're gonna put that up here.
All right. Hello, Odessa David. You're 12 years old? Wow. What brings you to this channel, Odessa David? Do you have autism, or does your family member have autism? Jordan Sherman, things that you do for Chase, are you used to him not showing interest in them? Or do you find yourself still a little discouraged when he doesn't care? Great question. Things that you do for Chase, are you used to him not showing interest in them, or do you find yourself as still a little discouraged when he doesn't care? Here's how I answer that question. It's a great question. What's frustrating for me is that I don't want, like if I spend 3 days with Chase, it's unhealthy physically and mentally for him to be doing the same thing for 12 or 18 hours a day. Let's say he gets up at 6 in the morning. If I let him, he will sit at his computer and stim, doing the same behaviors and same videos for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, nonstop. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for the brain. It's not healthy for his body. We all need to exercise every day. We all need stimulation, physical, mental stimulation, to keep our heart pure, to keep our mind healthy. And it will never be different for Chase. There has to be healthy behaviors and stimulants and activities in his lifetime. And right now, his main outlet for that is school. Thank God for school. If he didn't have school, what the hell would he be doing? So, if I have 3 full days with him, and I'm like, Chase, we gotta get out. We gotta do something. Let's do something. Whether it's here at the house or outside the house. Oftentimes it's outside the house. And he's very, very rigid, you know. This boy has autism. He doesn't want a bunch of loud sounds and bright lights and a lot of people around him. So those activities are very limited in what you can do. So that's what gets frustrating. So, like the other day, I took him back to that same library that you saw in one of the videos. Well, he's already been there, so, you know, he walked in and he's just like, same library. He went and did one little quick drawing. He walked around for maybe 10 minutes, and he went right for the door. I'm like, you ready to leave already? He didn't even ask me, he just left. He just walked out of the, he doesn't turn to hold my hand or ask me anything, he just leaves. He's always in the lead, and I'm always following him. So I we're walking out the library, and I said, you sure you want to leave? What do you want to do? You just go back to Daddy's house? Back to Daddy's house. So that's what's frustrating, because I'm trying to be the best dad possible, which is to keep him stimulated, which the library is, yet he wants to leave after 10 minutes. So, what am I to do? Let's get some of your comments in here. What's up with Anthony's house? We're trying to get back there next Sunday. I just talked to him yesterday. Ziquiz. Does he enjoy running or any other form of physical activity? I will talk about that in a minute. Hang on. Crystal Sazan. Hi, Chad. Greetings from Toronto. Chase is an amazing young man. How did he react to meeting Carmen? Also, where does the name Kimock7 come from? Number one, Toronto's a great city. I got to visit there maybe 8 years ago. Not for too long, but Carmen just visited Montreal, and she absolutely loved it, and she wants me to go there. I love Canada in general. So much fun. When Chase meets a stranger or a woman, especially a woman, he typically thinks that they're a therapist. So he will be he's very sweet and gentle and always laughs and smiles. He's very charming, very cute, very gentle. He gives big hugs, big kisses. And you've seen that when the video that you watch the video of Chase picks up Carmen at O'Hare Airport, one of my YouTube vlogs, pick up Carmen at the airport. You'll see how he
reacted to meeting Carmen. That wasn't the first time, but he's a big open heart for sure. But if he's not introduced to somebody directly by his mom or his dad or a teacher, he's not interested really. Where does the name Kimock7 come from? It's a musician that I love. His name is Steve Kimock. He's a guitarist, and the name Kimock7 pays tribute to Steve Kimock. You can go to Kimock.com or just search on YouTube Steve Kimock, and you can watch him. He's a guitar virtuoso. He's the greatest guitar on the planet, along with Trey Anastasio. That's why you saw Chase spell the word Anastasio, because that's the last name of the guitarist for Fish. His name is Trey Anastasio. He's the Great Red Baron. He is the pistachio of Fish. All right, more questions. Does Chase like bouldering, climbing? He does like hiking. He loves hiking. He loves climbing. What was the other question that you guys had on here? What did I miss? There was another question. Hey, Switzerland. Chad, is it in your family or just Chase? It's just Chase. Phil, I shake all the time. I've been shaking since I was about 5. I do not have Parkinson's. I do not have a brain tumor. I just walked away after 24 years. What was this other question on here? I thought I missed a question. Why is there 2 live worms? You mean live streams? I don't know. Your answer. I've never done this before, so if there's 2 live streams going, then I apologize. Hopefully, there's not somebody watching the other stream. Is the other stream just audio? Let me know. Hey Jadar, I'm doing great. I'm doing really, really good. Is there a lot of support in the UK after the diagnosis? You have to be ready to put up in a big fight. Oh, there's not a lot of. That's what I had heard. Rachel McDonald. Pud Ding. Sorry if you've already answered this, but did Chase find his red gummy worm steak? He did not. I had to actually edit that video, that vlog, where he's opening presents, because he started crying right in the middle of opening the presents. I mean, bawling his brains out. And I'm like, Chase, what's wrong? He started shaking. I mean, he had a little bit of a meltdown. And he started walking around the house like I couldn't get him to talk. And he finally just blurted out to me, he said, red gummy bear. And I'm like, yeah. I go, did you lose it? He's like, yes, red gummy bear, red gummy bear. So then we went around looking around the house for a good 20 minutes. I couldn't find it. And then we went back to opening presents and he was fine. So it's a great example of, people are asking questions on here of what does Chase know what he wants to do for his career? Chase is crying at age 18 about losing a gummy bear. So keep in perspective that his disability is I don't even know a word to use there. Very present. Chase has autism. I mean, it ain't severe, it ain't mild. It's right in the middle. At any given whim, he may just start bawling his brains out about losing a gummy bear. Thank you for the donation. I don't know who did it. I'm going to pop up on this here. It just says Z. Thank you, Z. Oh, Z Quiz. Another one from UK. You guys are loaded over there. My God. You guys are so generous. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I've never even been out of the country except for Canada and the Caribbean and Mexico. I've never been to Europe. I've never been overseas. So Carmen and I are making big plans for the future. She's so special in my life because she's adventurous, one of the many reasons. But that is a huge part of why I love her, is that she is so adventurous. She actually lived in London for a while and loved it. So I can't wait to get over to the UK and see more of the world. I'm running out of time. Where did I go in Canada? In Toronto? Well, honestly, the time I spent in Canada was in Thunder Bay. I've been to Thunder Bay about 8 times and had a great time. More the area between Duluth and Thunder Bay, like that whole area there along Lake Superior. Just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous time. But Toronto specifically, no, I was just there for like an overnight. I didn't get to see too much of the city. I mean, I went to Niagara Falls once and saw that. That was great. Let's get back to some of your questions. Thank you guys for your donations. Crystal, you were so generous. Thank you so much, Crystal, for your donation. I can't thank you enough. You guys are sending monetary monies directly to Chase's future, to his trust fund. His mom is going to be so grateful. She manages that, and I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you. Chase's future will be bright with all you guys' generosity. Let's get to some questions here. Is there a hardly? I have to page down the screen. How long does it chase? Okay. What's your question? Okay, Pug Ding. How long does it take Chase to accept or move on from something he loses? Great question. Or find a replacement. Nowadays, Chase will transition fairly quickly. I'd say on average, between like having a fit or a breakdown, half hour to maybe 2 hours. Maybe an hour. I'm going to set up a Patreon. I see that question coming up. I'll have the Patreon set up, I don't know, sometime this week. I already have it set up. I just took it down. I'm trying to do different things and organize things. So Chase's transitioning abilities and ability to calm himself is so incredible nowadays. He blows me away. You can literally see it happening. He'll try and like breathe and calm himself down. He'll go. You can see him try and calm himself down, and there's nothing I could really do often. I can't. It's not going to do me any good to hug him or kiss him or say hey or bombard him with questions or try and console him or anything. I've learned over the years to just stay quiet and just tell him I love you. It's going to be okay. That's it. All you can do. It's all you can do. Be silent. Yeah, just correct. You nailed it right on the head. Just be silent. Last thing he wants to hear is my booming voice when he's having a meltdown. Now, if there's something specific that he lost or he wants and we could go to the store and conveniently get it, then by all means, we're getting in the car and we're doing it. Right there and then. And I've done that many times. It's usually food, you know. Hello, Sweden. Let me page down the screen here. What the heck is a stuffy? Salam malam. I'm in college. Hey, Salam malam. I don't know. I don't know. You could donate your time, sure. There's different places where you could donate your time to. I'm reading some of your questions. Yeah, you guys can send Chase anything you want. I mean, the address, the P.O. box is in the description of all my videos, so you'll find it there. Pop just asked, how do I deal with meltdowns? Well, I just touched on some of that. You gotta let it ride itself out. There isn't much you can really do. Tell him you love him. Give him or her space. Tell him everything's going to be okay. Try not to get mad. Try not to get upset, which is really difficult. I'll give you an example. there's been many times in the past where I got mad at Chase because he was flipping out, having a meltdown, or just, my God, just going nuts. And it never made anything better. It only made the situation worse. There's my answer. If there's something specific causing the meltdown, like an environment he's at, then yeah, you get him or her out of the environment. I would never keep Chase in an environment where he's having a meltdown. You know? Which begs the question, like, what happens if, I'll talk about headphones in a second. What happens if have him in the plane and he's having a meltdown? You know, what do I do then? On the topic of Chase wearing headphones, those are noise canceling, basically earmuffs. People with autism are hypersensitive to sound and to light and to movement and to touch and to taste and to feel and to sight, smell, everything. So for Chase, if he can control some of the audio in his environment, which is oversensitive to him, it's often way too loud, much louder than you and I would. You gotta understand, the person with autism is seeing way more going on in their environment than you and I are. Let me repeat that. For the person with autism, they're seeing and experiencing reality so different than you and I could ever imagine. Ever imagine. An example would be, remember how we all watched analog TVs in the 70s and 80s? We got used to the analog, and then whoa, when we saw HD, 4000 HD, oh my God. Well, that's what the person with autism is experiencing. High definition. Everything is super sensorized. Super powerful. Visually, sound is just, and because they are, it's too much. It's called overstimulation. It's too much. So part of you may think our number one sense is our eyesight, but it's not. Our most powerful sense may be our hearing or our smell or our sixth sense right here, our intuition. So for Chase, his audio is, I mean, my God. So if he could wear those earmuffs and those headphones, which he could still hear me, by the way, when he's wearing them, then it's calming, it's peaceful for him. It's like a breakthrough. What's so bizarre is that growing up all those years, he would grab my Dr. Dre beats and he'd put them on, and I never really understood why. I'm like, and he's like breaking my Dr. Dre beats. And it wasn't until years later I realized, you know what, it's okay for him to wear headphones 24 hours a day if he wants, unless he's at school. They don't let him wear them at school as far as I'm aware. So that's what the headphones are all about. So if you have a son or daughter with autism, go get the headphones for them and see if it helps them have a calm life, a calm environment. And Chase loves them. He's a different person with them, if you ask me. Calmer, happier, less scared to go out and do different things. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that, I think. Rachel McDonald, we noticed a massive change since we got headphones. He wears them at the school. Yeah, it's exactly the same for Chase. Somebody just said, imagine having your senses multiplied by 10. That's what autism feels. Correct, exactly. Look at Chase's drawing abilities. We can't do that. You know one of the reasons why we can't? Because he's seeing so much more than we are. He has an ability to immediately recreate an object on paper that's in front of him on a video screen just perfectly. And part of that is because visually there's far more being soaked up by the brain than the typical person. There's a artistic savant on YouTube. I'll share a link, and she's way more gifted. I mean, she's 10 times more gifted than Chase. I mean, she's older than Chase. And she creates these high definition drawings of animals in like colored pencil. And she describes, she's verbal. She can talk all about her autism, her Asperger's. And she specifically stated that what she's seeing is 10 times more detailed than a normal person would in just a simple picture of a lion. And that says it all. All right. Hey, Chad, has Chase ever been bullied before? Great question, Ryan Lee. You know what? Thank God Chase has been very privileged to participate in school programs and therapy programs that are run by very skilled and knowledgeable teachers and organizations that would not allow such behavior. Chase goes on special needs buses. Chase is always typically been around an environment that loves people with autism and cares for them and has a heart like you and I do. That's why they're in this field. They care, they're educated, they're the opposite of ignorant. If Chase was mainstreamed all that time and around normal kids, he would have been bullied. I'll tell you one thing, he wouldn't pay attention to the bully. He wouldn't give him the time of day. If you, I mean, 'cause I don't know of one instant where Chase was bullied. And I will ask his mom if she has any examples. We've never had any issues at school or anything communicated to us that he had gotten in a fight or was picked on, or we've been very, 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 very blessed. Keep in mind, Chase spends most of his life around other kids with autism. So if he was bullied, if he was hit at school, it was because another child with autism flipped out, which has happened at school where he got hit by something, but is unintentional. So he unintentionally bullied would be the answer to your question. Chase loves to sing Odessa David. He got that from me. He's a good singer. Yeah, let me go get my guitar because I wanted to show you guys something. If my brother and anyone bullying him, they would feel my wrath of 1,000 degrees. Yeah. Ryan Lee, I read this article. I don't know how I came about it on YouTube or online. I'm always monitoring if people are stealing my stuff on the internet. So I came upon this story of a father who beat the living daylights out of a kid on the bus that kept bullying his special needs kid. They threw the father in jail and fined him $50,000. So now he won't be there for his son for a long time. And he got out $50,000 that could have been in his son's hands. And I was like, wow, that says it all. And he was very apologetic too. He realized he handled it way, way wrong. I was bullied growing up. There was a period where I was into breakdancing, and these two kids would make fun of me to the point where I was in tears and I was afraid to go to the bus stop. My tattoo is Bob Dylan, 1968. It's a French noir. See? Let me show you from. I love Bob Dylan. He's a major part of my personality and my belief system and my my love. He's taught me so much on multiple levels about life and relationships and children, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Bob Dylan's not just a singer-songwriter. in case you weren't aware, he's a teacher. What was I going to grab? Okay, I'm going to grab my guitar. Hang on. Oh, God. All right, we got two guitars. This is a guitar I'm going to try and teach Chase on. It's not a ukulele, but it's just a smaller guitar, which you see me play on a few videos. This is the guitar that Chase played on. It's also Chase's sister's guitar, which I bought for her, but she didn't take to it too much. I'm self-taught, and I started playing since I was 15, but I'm not going to play a bunch of songs here, but I want to show you something that we're going to try and teach. I'm going to try and teach Chase over the next, it's one of my goals for next year. The piano and the guitar at the same point. The guitar is extremely difficult to play. I only play the guitar and the harmonic, and I dabble with the piano. So I don't have a lot of experience to be able to talk about the piano. And because I'm self-taught in guitar, it's difficult for me to have a full perspective on how difficult or challenging a guitar may be to learn how to play. But what I do know this is that it only takes a small, how do I put it? Chase already has the musical ability. So most people with autism have an inkling or a hidden or gifted talent for music. And part of the reason they do is because they have that intense ability to hear notes and sounds, and they can reproduce. They already have that hidden, but they have to be instructed on certain instruments. So my idea would be, since Chase already is really good at singing and he can carry a note, is to be able to just simply try and teach him 3 chords from the beginning, which just takes a little bit of motor skills and practice in the fingers, which eventually became natural to me. Just 3 basic chords. Like the Beatles or Black Song, thousands of songs written with the chord G and D and A. So that's it. So if I could show Chase, okay, play a G, play a D, play an A, and he could just do that over and over. This guitar's not in tune. You get my point. So my goal is to be able to try and teach him that. He already is able to do stuff like this and control the fretboard and all. I believe he can control melody. But at the same time of me trying to teach him that, I want to see if there's a way I can get him into the piano, because a lot of people with autism have an affinity for the piano. And what if I could get him into the piano? Wouldn't that be cool? I don't know how I do it. I can't teach him. He'd have to take lessons. I don't know. I have no idea. All right, on to your questions. Have you ever been to Mary and Max? No. Amazon wish list? I will do one. I know that Fathering Autism did such a thing. I have to get on that. What he liked at Anthony's house was that there were 3 other neurotypical kids that were playing Nerf gun fights. He also liked that Anthony's son at Anthony's house had 1 book up in the bedroom that was a Dr. Seuss book that Chase liked to lock himself in that boy's bedroom and look at the Dr. Seuss book. Chase also has that same Dr. Seuss book. Chase's favorite music genre? Genre? Well, I'd have to say Christmas music. He's always had affinity for Willie Nelson and Dean Martin. So those are 2 that I mention all the time. What does... Chase likes all the Dr. Seuss books. He has all of them. Chase does not watch TV. He lives on YouTube. He doesn't watch movies. He's not going to sit down and watch a movie. He doesn't want to go to the movies either. You know, back in the day, I would try to take him to the movies and stuff, and we'd last maybe 15, 20 minutes, half hour. We'd always have to leave. What's a black screen? Danica, Chloe, what do you mean black screen? Movies are overrated? I don't go to the movies very often. Oh. I just watched, I've been getting into Marlon Brando, stuff like that. Do you have any videos of Chase singing? Yes, there's several on the YouTube site. So watch my YouTube videos, David, and you'll see Chase singing on several of them. Does Chase enjoy memes online? Not that I'm aware of, no. There's 2 live videos, he go to the other one. There are 2 live videos you have to go, I don't know. Does Chase exhibit any savant properties? Yes, he does. His drawing abilities are almost savant, if you ask me. Chase can draw anything he sees very rapidly. He's had no training whatsoever. He did have an art therapist for a brief time. Is Chase good with computers, tech? My son with Aspies is a tech wizard. I mean, Chase is good with computer software programs, but not technical stuff. He can do all kinds of things on a computer, you know. He knows his way around the internet. That's for sure. I don't know. You see, guys want me to refresh the page? I don't know what you mean by that. Is the signal coming through okay? What does Daddy like? I want to send you both a little gift for Christmas. Aw. Well, Daddy's all about music, so any musical type of gift will satisfy Daddy. Chad, there are 2 treat people with autism if they're not human with feelings, and it makes my blood boil. I want to make a difference. Oh, there are some people that treat autism if they're not human with feelings. Yep, I've met some of them, Ryan Lee. I just have nothing to do with them. How do I put it? I actually expect that. I expect that. I don't expect it on the internet, because you guys are great, but out in public and stuff, you should see the dirty looks Chase gets like all the time. Chase has never played Minecraft, but I'm going to try and get him into it. Somebody on Instagram was talking to me all about it, so I'm going to try and get him into it. The stream's fine for you? Okay, good. We're all good. My phone should be charged fine. Do you agree with only use of violence as a last resort? Do you agree? Well, yeah, I agree with that, yeah. Hey, I mean, I don't know what to say about all that topic. It's, I just regurgitated some story I read online. I was like, wow. If I learned that Chase was getting bullied, I don't know how I would react. I honestly don't, because it's never happened. Does Chase ever know why people are giving him these looks? Chase is oblivious to people giving him looks. I promise you that. My boy lived for Minecraft for years. We must merge schools and cater for all needs. Then we will become one community. I agree. Well, the United States has come a long way. Illinois has come a long way. Do you have a post box? Yes, I have a post box. It's in the description of all of the videos on my video YouTube autism series. So any of my autism videos in the description, you'll see the post office box in there. If you want to write it down, it's c.wickert, post office box 604, Elk Grove Village, Illinois, 60009-0604. I have it memorized. All right, I'll put it in the description here. Hang on. Here we go. 604 Elk Grove Village, Illinois, 6009-0604. All right, there's the P.O. Box. Does Chase have any affinity for his daily wardrobe, or will he just wear anything? He will wear anything he wants. He has no affinity to any clothes whatsoever. However, he's still a creature of habit and routine and rigid. So if he's used to wearing a certain coat and a certain shoes and you try to interrupt that, he's probably going to get upset. Your videos are so inspiring. Thank you, Brandon. Brandon D. Brandon. You and your comments are equally as inspiring. Chase has grown so much because of an amazing parent like you. I'm 15. I've been watching your videos and since. Oh, you're from Illinois also. I know you said that earlier. What city in Illinois? Are you from Chicago? Hey, Miss Zane. Yeah, Chase, he he likes comfortable clothes. I've never seen him have any affinity towards any clothing at all. Does Chase's sister feel like his babysitter sometimes? Great question. She's never expressed it to me in that form of wording as a babysitter. She absolutely loves him. She's never had any brother other than Chase, and she never will. So this is the only sibling she knows, and she's always known from her earliest of ages that he has autism. So she's just loved him so unconditionally over the years, and she's always been there for him and always cared for him. I'm sure there's been times when she's been asked to stay home and watch him by her mother that has upset her. But she's been great. Chase does not have any medications. Never has, never will. You're from Oak Lawn. Wow. Salam Malam. My parents lived in Oak Lawn throughout the 60s. That was their first home. My mom grew up on the south side of Chicago. So did my father. Very cool. I'm actually an expert on the 1967 tornado that tore up Oak Lawn on April 21st, 1967. All right, more questions. Thank you, Ryan Lee, for chiming in here. Ryan, I think there's something I saw that you had written a book or you are on a Facebook channel. If so, can you please put that link and share it in this stream? Because I want everyone else to know about it. If you're the same Ryan Lee that I seem to remember. I think that's what somebody had said to me, that you had created a book on autism. I don't know. But feel free to say more. St. Charles, very cool. I know right where St. Charles is, Illinois. I used to have a client out there. What does Chase think about cigarettes? My autistic cousin used to smell smoke and trip out. Nobody around in Chase's life smokes. His stepfather smokes periodically, but not in the house. I don't know anything over there, but I don't think he smokes anymore. So Chase is not around cigarette smoke at all. Like many things about Chase, it's going to be the great unknown. You won't really know what he thinks or thinks about something. Chase gets very scared around seeing an open fire. He avoids fire. I've never seen him get annoyed by cigarette smoke. Would a service dog be beneficial to Chase? No, I don't believe that. I believe he's more higher functioning than needing that. He has 2 dogs at home. I'm not an expert in the service dog thing. Hang on, somebody wrote something. Ryan Marie. All right, I'm reading your comment. My name is Ryan and my son was diagnosed with autism in the last month. I've been watching your videos for a while and I subscribed the day we got the news. Do you have any advice for us new autism spectrum disorder parents? Wow. Well, Ryan, that's why we're doing this live stream, because that question right there is probably the most important thing of all in terms of me spreading autism awareness. Because in the end, that's the number one goal of this channel, is to provide perspective and hope and learning and teaching and exchange of ideas. That here's this boy Chase, who was nonverbal the first 7-8 years of his life, And suddenly, over the last several years here, he has developed functional verbal language, not by accident. It was all through hard, dedicated work for many years by me, mainly by his mom, and by his sister and his teachers and his therapists and his occupational therapists and his speech therapists and all the doctors that diagnosed him correctly over and over and over. So do I have any advice for the new diagnosis? Let me think here, because I got to try and be succinct and articulate here, okay? I've been going since 3 o'clock, so we've been going 3.5 hours. Number one, your marriage and your idea of raising children is forever changed. So any preconceived notions or perceptions you have, I want you to take that and throw it out the door. You're starting over. That's the true reality. It's critically important that you accept the diagnosis and you embrace it. Because your child is smart, smarter than you'll ever know. Autism is not a disorder of intelligence. Autism is a disorder mostly of output, not input. The input's working pretty darn well, probably better than me. So your son or daughter's hearing everything you say to them. They're soaking in a lot more than you could ever imagine. They just don't have the ability to let you know that yet. So you got to start fresh and educate yourself. I'd read every book you can on autism, watch every video you can, and become an expert. It's your responsibility. No, you didn't sign up for this, but you need to get over that right away and accept it, both of you. Education will help you with that. Talking to people like me and others and watching videos will show you that, you know what? This is just a different road you're going to have to take. It's going to be a little bit more challenging. But you need to keep it all in perspective, okay? Your child doesn't have a terminal illness. Your child's not missing any limbs. Your child's typically physically healthy. They may have gut issues and digestive issues, which is a whole other part of autism. And Chase had a lot of eating disorders for many years. And you got to get your child into special services right away. ABA therapy in the home or outside of the home, right away. Don't waste any time. If you need to borrow money to get it done, do it. If you need to hire an attorney to get your son or daughter the services that they desperately need because the public school system won't, then do it. And we did that. I think it helps too to network with other parents with autism so you don't feel isolated. A lot of parents with a new diagnosis, they feel alone because all their peers and nieces and sisters and nephews and uncles, all their children are normal. They're all fine. And then here you are with this diagnosis going, why me, why me, why me? So you can't sit around pitying yourself. You can't, don't get me wrong. There's a period there of acceptance, and it's very traumatic for me and Chase's mom. But there's the traumatic mourning period of acceptance that, for each of us, it's going to be different in how quickly it progresses. But the quicker you can get on the same page, and we did, we got Chase services in the house right away. A girl would show up at our house 2 or 3 times a week, right when Chase was 2 or 3 years old, and do ABA with him in his bedroom or in the basement. And I would videotape some of it. I would watch it. And I have those videos, and we're going to have those videos on YouTube very soon. I have to transfer them to digital files. Yeah, I mean, I think I answered it in a nutshell. In terms of advice, you have to embrace it. I think the more you embrace it, the more you become the expert, and the unconditional love, the more patient you'll be. And raising any child with any special needs requires the utmost amount of patience and perspective. You know? Patience, patience, patience. And the other thing I'll say here too, and I don't want to ramble too much on this. You got to take care of yourself. Your child needs mom and dad to be physically healthy, mentally healthy, predictable, dependable, employed. You gotta be there for your child, who's going to need you for a long, long, long time, way more than you probably ever could have imagined or planned beyond college. You know, for my parents or my dad, is like, hey, once you graduate from college or 18, you're out. You're on your own. You know, you're off the paycheck. You're off the bank account. It's not that way with autism. It's the direct opposite. It's a lifelong responsibility. So you got to get on it right away. And I've seen the results of parents who are not proactive, and your child will fall behind. I've seen it. And those children are completely nonverbal. Completely. Don't get me wrong. They may be just as happy as Chase. I think Chase is happier now that he can speak. It's fulfilling for him to be able to know that he can use verbal language to request things or want things or desires and express that verbally. We are human beings. The person that's nonverbal can still communicate in other ways. There's computers, there's programs, there's written forms, there's speaking boxes, there's a lot of tools. So take pride in knowing that your child is diagnosed with autism in a day and age where you could not have more available help and services and support than ever in the history of human mankind. And part of that is what you see right here on Kimock7. All right, so you're not alone. You've got lots of love around you, and you're going to be fine, and your child's going to be fine, okay? ABA services, keep them in that. Don't give up. Don't give up. Chase did not speak for years, many years. I never thought he would speak. They told us he would never speak. Be very careful with your child with autism. Make sure you don't let them out of your sight ever. There are times when they elope at certain ages, between 4, 5, 6, 7, they will disappear out of your house and they will be gone. And you will have no idea where they went. That happened to us twice. And there's nothing more terrifying than that. So put up alarm systems in your home, video cameras, locks, surveillance systems, everything. Be very, very, very careful. Your child's safety is numero uno. Don't let them drown. Don't let them get hit by a car. Don't let them wander off anywhere. So, what else can I tell you? You want advice for parents of newly diagnosed autism? Honestly, and I may say something here a little controversial, but I'll say it. I said it a little bit earlier. Be careful how much time you spend around family or whomever that have normal children that are the same age as your child, because it will tear at your heart. It will tear at your heart, especially if your child has severe autism. It's just so tough. you know, there's many times in the past where there's going to be times when you feel helpless, and just know in your heart that you're going to find ways to cope with that, and that helplessness feeling that you have, the inability to help your child who's having a meltdown, is you're not alone. It's going to happen. The child with autism has meltdowns. Okay, adults have meltdowns. We all have meltdowns. Us neurotypical adults, we know how to help each other with meltdowns. The person with autism, you can't really help them with their meltdown. It's very challenging. You know, they oftentimes when you're having a meltdown, you don't know why. So you need to, there's no preparing for that, so educate yourself, and know in advance you're going to have times when you feel helpless. And stay patient. It's part of autism. It comes back to the education, okay? Now, for many years, when Chase would have meltdowns, I didn't ever call them a meltdown. I never refer to them as meltdowns. We called him, he's freaking out. That's what we called it. Oh my God, he's freaking out. What is going on, you know? Panic attack, just, and you feel so helpless. You feel like gut-wrenching because, you know, we as parents, we live vicariously through our children. They are part of us. And when we can't help them calm themselves down, it's just gut-wrenching. It's so tough. So that's all I got to say about that. All right, I don't have more to say about that. Let's get on to some more questions. I hope I've been helpful. I hope I've been saying what's good. All right, here we go. I'm reading some of your questions. Yeah, Chase has always been very affectionate, so I know a lot of people with autism are not like that. Maybe Chase is unique, I don't know. Does Chase arrange his animals in the same way every time he comes to your house? He typically puts the large animals together and the small animals together. It's just seeing all those videos. So the large animals will be up front, small animals will be towards the side and the back. Chase graduates from high school next May or June. What's in store for Chase after graduation? I can't give you specifics, but he's going to stay in a sort of public program down where he lives, unless his mom relocates. Does Chase tell you about his dreams or nightmares? No, he does not. Chase doesn't tell me about any of his thoughts, or anyone else for that matter. He's a good sleeper. He always has been. I'm sure he has dreams. We all have dreams, we know that. But stay tuned on Chase's future. This YouTube page is going to be here for a long time. We're going to grow it to 100,000 subscribers, I guarantee that. And we will continue, hopefully, to show videos of Chase doing things with me. So, how is Chase when he meets new people or strangers? He generally ignores them. He doesn't, it's not a big interest of his. If you introduce him to somebody and tell them who that person is, he'll be very sweet and kind and gentle and loving. He's super sweet, super loving, super kind, absolutely adorable. Open heart, the kid is a heart of gold. I've had a few nightmares lately. One was like a tsunami of ice was coming at me and I kept running forever. Thank you, Kayla Whitmire. You're welcome. I like being a great dad, as you call it. ABA therapy is a bit of a taboo subject found in the UK. Occupational therapy refused to discuss it. In a few forums I'm on, you are not allowed to discuss it. Is that the same over there? Rachel McDonald, I'm actually part of a Facebook page where I'm not allowed to talk about ABA therapy, so I don't. I'm just going to say this and leave it at that. Chase would be nonverbal without ABA therapy. Okay? Chase would be nonverbal at age 18 without his early intervention ABA services from age 2, especially up to age 8 or 9. Okay? Now that he is verbal, what opportunities could he have as an adult? All right, I'll just leave it at that. So I don't know what this whole other taboo thing is all about, but I seem to think part of it was that a lot of the people on there have autism and they don't want to be forced to do things that are not, there's a movement out there that they believe ABA is forced upon the special needs person. Because it is, that it's immoral or unethical. All right, let's move on. What's up, James McGregor? I never dealt with autism since I saw your channel. I'm really thankful you and Chase are sharing this experience. It's staggering and love watching you both. Thank you, James. Greetings from Germany. Greetings from Chicago. James McGregor, I actually have brethren and family tree from Germany. My last name, which is the P.O. Box, Wickert, used to be called Wickert. And my great-grandfather came over here from Germany with the last name Wickert, which eventually was misspelled and became Wickert. So I'm 50% German. Carmen, my wife, was born in Germany. And she is basically half German as well. Her mother is German. And yeah, so I've never been there and I can't wait to visit. Glad you're enjoying the channel from Germany. The comments I get from people that don't have autism in their life, that are watching the channel, people that have autism that are watching the channel, parents that have children with autism watching the channel, teachers, students. It's just an incredible array of variety of people in different stages in their life and experiences that are enjoying the videos. And I never ever could have imagined that it would be this far reaching. Not in a million years. Not in a million years. I never crossed my mind that I'd have literally dozens and dozens of people with autism reaching out to me and texting me and emailing me and Facebook me and Instagramming me. It's been an incredible experience, unlike anything I ever could have imagined. And I'm learning so much. I really, really am. Just people on this chat today are teaching me things from their experiences. Hey, Courtney B. I'm glad to go live. We'll try and do it more often. I do not have anyone in my life that has autism, but I completely appreciate the love and care for you and your son. You're an amazing person. Hey, King Priscilla, I'm interested in LSD and autism. I know little about it. It's just interested in your thoughts on the matter. Well, King, I've done LSD about 8 times, all in 1991 when I was 20 years old. And I know they're experimented with it in the 60s with people on autism. And I think for people with severe autism, I think the thought would be that there's been some case studies where the person under the influence of LSD began to speak or began to have social abilities. Same with marijuana. So it becomes a real ethical and moral question of who becomes test pilots for this, and after the future. You know, being under the influence of LSD changes your perceptions of reality forever, which I see as a good thing. It opens up the doors of your perception of not only how you interact with society and in your environment around you, but it provides you a deeper understanding of our existence here on Earth and our cause and our purpose and how short it is, and that our perception of reality is just one perception. You know, for instance, everything I see in this room is just my perspective of it. Whereas if Chase was standing next to me, his perception of everything in this room is different. When your brain is under the influence of a psychoactive drug, it releases different chemicals that causes your brain to perceive things differently, in an altered state, in a different dimension. So for the person with autism that already has a brain that is on a whole nother level, like, it's a wild question. But in the end, I would never experiment with anything on Chase. So that's just me, and that's my son, it's my child. And I would never put anything in his blood to see if it has a reaction in him. I don't think it's right. I don't want to try and do anything that could try and make him talk more. I really don't. Because whatever it is would be unnatural. And what's my goal? I'm going to say something here that I haven't talked about in any of the videos, but it really disturbed me the other day. And it basically goes like this. I came across some things on YouTube or Facebook or written in some form. And each time I read about it, in every case, I'm not kidding, the parent said, we are so much happier now that our special needs child is on the CBD oil. Never once did they say he or the child is that much happier. So I hope that they just use the wrong words, but that's how I interpret it, you know. Chase is happy. Chase is happy. A lot of children with autism are happy. So it really, really begs the question of, who are you medicating, you know? Are you medicating it so your life is more manageable, or that your child's life is more manageable? Or is it a little bit combination of both? So if the only goal is to try and help the person with autism have a more peaceful, manageable life, then go for it. I think that's fantastic. Especially if they can consent as an adult to make that decision themselves. Right? So, no, I haven't done any biomedical intervention, nothing. Chase is all natural. Don't interpret what I'm saying here. Listen exactly to what I'm saying here. All I'm saying is that I came across stuff on the internet where it seemed like the parents were much happier with calming their children than the actual children are. You know, like their motivation was different, you know. And maybe I read into it wrong. So I don't want to go on too much more about that subject, but I think I made my point. If I felt there was anything that I can give Chase that would make him a much happier person, I would. But he already is happy. He's already come so far. And we never had to use any medication to do it. So that is. Thank you for the donation, Miss Ain. You have been participating this entire stream, so thank you so much. You are so generous. You are so giving and thoughtful and caring and supportive for this live stream, and all of you guys have been donating. And it's not necessary, obviously not, and we'll be doing more live streams like this. I'm enjoying doing this. I'm a little exhausted right now. We've been going for almost 4 hours, and I'm going to wrap it up here at 7 because I'm hungry. So thank you. Let's try and get a couple more questions in. And I will say this too, if you guys haven't already, be sure that you join my Facebook pages. There's 2 of them. One's called Buy Chase a Treat. The other one is just called Kimock7 Autism Vlog. Follow me on Instagram. And those links are in the upper right-hand corner of the YouTube page. But I think you have to be on a desktop to see that. Love from Canada, Courtney B. Have you ever been to Canada before? Traveled? I've been to Thunder Bay numerous times. Great time there. And Carmen just went to Montreal, said it was incredible. Hello from Texas. My nephew's finally talking. I told my brother about you. Well, hello, Texas. My uncle lives in Houston. He loves it down there. Love Wolves. I got diagnosed with Asperger's a year ago. I'm 14. I got diagnosed, though, since I'm a girl. What do you think about girls and autism? Well, girls with autism, I mean, I think most of us know that most of the kids diagnosed with autism are boys, and the ones that diagnosed that are severe, or the ones that are girls that are diagnosed, are typically very severe. So the girls that I've met with autism in Chase's life have always been very severe. And I don't know why that is. Nobody seems to know why. And how do I pronounce your name? Sidode? I hope you're dealing okay with it, and I hope you're doing well. Much love from me to you and Kimock7. I'm glad you're joining us on this chat and enjoying the channel. And I'm glad you're loving Chase and loving my son. And Tech Gamer, I live pretty close to you near Wrigley. I have a 2-year-old nonverbal son who is showing pretty heavy signs of autism. Do you have any advice on a dad for being patient in hard times? Hey, email me at kimock@comcast.net. I want to connect with you, and I will give you more information outside of the stream. And I could certainly help you. And if you haven't got diagnosed yet, I can certainly help you with that too. Because, yeah, I can give you advice. So let me put my email in here again. It's kimock@comcast.net. Hey, Rebecca K. Well, I'm going to be ending the stream soon, so you're catching the tail end of it here. His drawings are really impressive. Thank you. A lot of girls tend to fall through the cracks undiagnosed. Wow, that's bizarre. Girls get diagnosed less from what I read, unless they... I didn't know that. So much love for you, Chase. Thank you, Courtney B. Yeah, shoot me an email. Does Chase like your video games? Like video games? Yes, he likes Mario Kart on the GameCube. That's it. That's what he plays. That's the only thing he plays. And he only does it at his mama's house. Mario Kart. Thank you, Matt Foltz. God bless you, too. I plan on doing this live stream for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We're going on 4 hours here. So, I'm from Ireland. I watch you. Hey, Jack Downs from Ireland. I have Irish roots as well. My grandmother's name was Clarice Crowley. So I'm about 40% Irish. And, yeah, she's a great woman. Interesting woman. Thank you, Derek Rigg. Thank you, Hall Zoo. My faithful Grateful Dead song and album, man. Follow Deadhead. Great. This is the best. This is a great question here. Who answered that question? King Percival. King Percival, what is your favorite Grateful Dead song and album? Fellow Deadhead. I toured with the Grateful Dead from 1989 to 1995, and I got into it through all the live bootlegs. The bootlegs I started out on were from, 73 years, 1977, a lot of 1985 stuff. The really first, the introduction was Dead Set. So the live Dead Set from Radio City Music Hall 1980, obviously. the Fire on the Mountain on there, the drums in space, riveted me. I was absolutely floored by the Grateful Dead in this live recording. And this would have been like 1990. Like right when I started seeing the band, 1989, 1990. I saw my first show April 11th, 1989 at the Rosemont Theater. I only got to see Brent a few times. So I guess my favorite album would have to be Dead Set. 'Cause I would have to go back to that and go, wow, that was, you know, my favorite song. Well, I mean, it all comes down to what makes a huge part of what makes the Grateful Dead so special, which is that ability to put you in a transitive state of altered state instantly, the moment I hear it, of pure bliss. So I would have to go with Dark Star. And the live version, which obviously is on Live Dead, that's the pinnacle. So my favorite year of the Grateful Dead is 1973, 74. I'm very fond of 1985 and 1990. And, you know, I named my daughter Scarlet. So Scarlet Begonias is an incredible song too. But great question. Thank you. Hello, Deadhead. I just watched Dead and Company on a stream last night. John Mayer just, wow. Oh my God. Him and yeah. Wow. Clemente on keyboards. Wow. So I'm going to try and webcast all this week the Grateful Dead. King Princess of all, you're the best. Will Van Gundy, your questions earlier were so great. I think you were the first person to put me in tears here, Will Van Gundy, so thank you. Yeah, well, the Dig a Pony, I love your taste in the Beatles, by the way. Dig a Pony, but great song. So, you know, the Beatles channel was launched on XM, I think, this summer. And ever since it did, I've been glued to it. So I absolutely love the Beatles. I always have. The psychedelic Beatles is obviously my favorite. And, you know, I'm trying to create a little bit of a different thing on Instagram, which is purely entertainment purposes. That has nothing to do with autism. But at the same time, throw some chase on there as well and have fun with it. And I love it. And I love the technology and Instagram, which owns Facebook. You know, it's all becoming one and the same thing. So if I could use Instagram and Facebook to continue to build the community, then I will. Yeah, we're going to get more Carmen in the videos. What's great about Carmen is she's not camera shy, unlike these teenagers, these teenage girls. She's gung-ho. She's all good, and she's an actress and a model, and she's used to being, you know, in the limelight. Which is great, because it was the opposite. To deal with me, it would be, it would just be crazy. So, Jefferson Starship, I mean, I don't have much to say about that. I never got to see him. I'm only 46 years old. Was this a surrealistic pillow? You know, on vinyl is incredible. Like stuff like that. That's kind of all I have to say. What are the 3 best skills of Chase? Drawing. Being a good person. You know, a lot of teenagers are just pricks. Chase is the nicest kid in the world you'd ever want to meet. You're not going to meet a nicer, more sweet, gentle, caring, loving 18-year-old boy in America. If you do so, bring him over. Let's see it. Let's see it. You asked for 3 skills. You know, everyone's been going on and on and on about his ability to be an announcer. He has my voice. He has perfect reading skills. Perfect, word for word. He can pronounce anything, which is amazing. I've never seen him sit down and read a book in my life, yet he can pronounce every word he sees on the internet. Sometimes he'll pronounce things, I'll be like, wow, just unbelievable. So, could there be a day where he does, you know, I'm a voiceover myself, but it's not my profession. So I have a lot of voiceover, experience and talent. I'm the voice for vasectomy clinics of Chicago. I just let the cat out of the bag. I am the voice of their service and products. So the business is it's an eat 'em up business. The announcer voice is not a unique thing. It's not unique like you all think it is. But for Chase, for somebody with autism, that may be, like, the fact that he has autism may be the window in, or the intro in above somebody else. You get where I'm going with that? Like, because he has autism, because he's so skilled at speaking and drawing, maybe that would open some doors for him. I don't know. Oh my God. All right, let's go eat. Let's all go eat dinner. I'm going to have to go too. Thank you, Charlotte, for tuning in. Love you guys in the UK. We're going to be wrapping this up here. I'll do 2 more questions and I'm going to go, okay? Thank you. Goodbye, Cody. Saigo. Thank you guys for all your donations. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for all the gifts that you've sold. I got like 8 boxes in my car I just picked up. Bye, Toronto. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Curlin. Can you tell us how to lower our Comcast bill? I can. Just go on YouTube and search Kimock7 Comcast. You'll see it. And I will help lower your Comcast bill. Oh, your sense of humor is great. Goodbye, Ireland. Goodbye, Salam. Good night. We'll be back soon. We got Chase next weekend. I just played a poker tournament yesterday. I did incredible too, but I didn't make it to the final table. We will have the poker vlog on a different channel eventually. I wish I had 3 more versions of me and more time in the day to get everything done that I want to do. Thank you for all your comments, and thank you guys so much. And for all my poker fans out there, thank you for bearing through the evolution of this channel. From poker to autism. Well, it was originally autism, and then it was poker, and then autism, and hey, all the poker vlogs are still up, so I just haven't had time to do all that nowadays. So, Merry Pranksters, Unite, Rule. Thank you guys. I'm signing out. Love you guys. Good night. I don't think I've ever talked since, I do remember the snowstorm was 667, and the snowstorm was 67, it shut down Lakeshore Drive. I wasn't alive, but I've studied it. Yeah, and the tornado, April 21st, 67. Oh, all right. Thank you, Miss Zane, for your donation. All you guys donating money, you guys are unbelievable. So thank you so much. Good night and goodbye. Love you guys. We will do this again soon. Maybe in a couple weeks. Next week I have Chasing Carmen, so I'll be shooting auto footage and I'll be editing it days later and uploading it so YouTube can demonetize it. Good night. Love you.